Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you're at, ladies and gents. I am Kuura, and thanks for tuning in with me here on the workshop floor once again for yet another unique Orimeda stream and design session that I do have with this special guest. It's been so nice getting back into a even somewhat regular routine here with getting these put together and coordinated, and I probably should be coordinating some more stuff just here solo as well as time goes on, but I've just been having too much fun having guests join in every now and then that it's just been at the back of my mind to do stuff solo. But as it was last week with my dear friend Falco, who tuned in for some time, we have yet another brand new face that will be joining me on the workshop floor this evening for another original Orimeda stream. Now, this person has been tuned in every once in a while here with my previous Orimedas, so I have a little bit of an idea of what to expect, but it is still always good to have them here all the same. My friend KYLONEKO, how are you doing to this evening, my friend? Let me go ahead and there we go. All right, so it is an official honor to welcome you formally to the workshop floor here at the MNN. It is so nice to have you, and a real treat, no less, to have you stop in and spend some time with me here and take some time out of your schedule. So, like I said, you have kind of tuned in on previous streams of the past, so you kind of have a little bit of idea of how I operate. So, I'm gonna go ahead and just give you a couple minutes to just kind of toot your own horn, shine the spotlight on you for a while. So, take some time to talk about who you are, what you do, favorite games, where you stream, just a little bit of you, a little bit about you.
Oh yeah. So I'm KYLONEKO. I am the Linux VTuber that has made the Linux guide to VTubing.
Okay.
And so far, a lot of people have been using that guide, and it's pretty good. I also stream on Twitch and YouTube, and I've been streaming for a total of about 8 years
Oh
in
wow.
total, and I've been on YouTube for about 7. A little bit before I was a VTuber, but mostly because I'm a VTuber now. And uh, besides that, I've just been like doing a lot of stuff. Like I like mechs, I like video games,
Nice,
like
nice, nice,
Digimon.
nice. So you mentioned as well, and I've seen the tweets in your feed as well on that. So and you mentioned yourself as a Linux VTuber.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of stuff, pros and cons to both, and especially with all the decisions made recently with Windows and such. I imagine there's a lot of migrations, learning Linux from start or just migrating to it officially. So what kind of got you into Linux officially? Like, is it something that you've always been in, or was it something you kind of just picked up down the line and just never went back?
So the main turning point on what got me into using Linux was I was just trying to play a game on my Windows computer, and I kept having driver crashes. I was like, you know
Oh,
what? I think I'm going to take a look into this Linux thing. And I started to experiment with a bunch of Linux like stuff for like VTubing because like this wasn't documented before,
right, right.
and nobody really talked about it. It was sort of just implied. And yeah, there was like a Linux VTuber before me, and I do talk to them, but all this information wasn't in one spot on where it should have been.
Okay.
So I took the time to like over a course of a couple months to like test things out on my laptop, make sure it was all working, make sure I can even use Linux. And now I'm to the point to where okay, the guide has expanded this far. We now have a website being made, and a lot of the programs just work through Proton,
Okay.
which Proton is one of the things that outside of like some programs being native to Linux, Proton's this compatibility layer that allows Windows programs to function as if they were, working on Windows for the most part.
Okay. So it's like an
And
adapter program, basically.
kind of, it's like a compatibility tool.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it helps provide like people the ability to like use a Linux distro of their choice. Say they want to boot up a video game or a program that is supported via Proton, then it works. And there's about like 26K games that do work on Linux, and about 5K that work on anti-cheat. So like it's not too far off.
Okay.
There's maybe like 700 games that don't work on anti-cheat, but it's not really like a huge deal,
Right. Right.
at least right now.
And more than likely those will get updated to where they will have that support either with the compatibility or natively with Linux. So I
Yeah, or
imagine.
somebody defeats like kernel level anti-cheat for games like Fortnite and League of Legends, that'd be
Right.
huge.
Right. And how long have you been working with the with the Linux operating system?
But I'd say like seriously, I'd say about 2 years.
Okay. Wow. Okay. And you've been learning about it since then as a continuing development.
Yeah.
That's really nice, honestly. Like I've heard a lot of folks that say they use Linux either for operational stuff or hobby, for like hobby hobby
Yeah.
servers or whatever else. So I've seen a little bit of it. I'm no stranger to hearing about it and understanding what it is. But honestly, that's really cool. And the fact that you work on you're kind of one of the tantamount users members that kind of put the guides together and kind of
Oh yeah.
helping introduce people into that for folks that want to get into the VTubing on Linux. It's very very commendable for what you do, and kind of comparable to what I do here with on the MNN with all the breakdowns and the guides.
Hmm.
From one tech person to another, I tip my hat to you, and as a
Thank you.
as a commendation for what you did. So if anyone is watching this stream here either live or decides to go back and watch it later and wants to explore and dive into Linux as a whole, I do have a link to Kylo's Twitter as well, and any other necessary links as well to get some basics on that, or if you want to reach out to Kylo and get some information on
Yeah.
that. So
I even have a whole tech support Discord because right now the state of Windows 11 is absolutely garbage.
oh yeah, I've definitely heard a lot about that.
And
So
then
far,
Windows 10 died like 3 days ago, so
Yep. So far, I've been pretty lucky with my Win 11. It's not giving me any problems aside from just a really weird crash every now and then, but those are like super sporadic, so I'm not really gonna warrant those as like a problem at all. But
yeah.
I've not had any problems with it so far, and I'm gonna knock on wood here for a minute and hope and pray that it stays that way.
Well,
But
if you do have issues, you know who to call.
indeed, I will definitely keep that in mind if I decide to take the jump into Linux. So
Yeah.
that being said, you did say as well that you were streaming for or content creating for about 8 years. That's a very
Yeah.
that's a very impressive tenure actually for how
Mhm.
long you've been making stuff and working on content like that. So another tip of the hat for the years that you put into this, and keeping people in the know. So
Oh yeah.
very impressive. Now, as far as what we're doing here tonight, much like it has with previous guests here on the workshop floor, we will be designing a completely brand new Orimeda from the ground up, never before seen. We're going to be basically putting our brains together and come up with something super original that no one has ever even thought to, considered to think of before. So I honestly love doing these streams because, and as I instruct with all of my guests, to not show me the prompts from the random generator. I do that on purpose because I honestly have no clue what to expect if we're going into this. I don't know what the final result will be, what it's going to look like. I have zero clue, and I'm so excited because I love doing it that way because I'm learning the same time that we are, and it's a multi-step process as we're kind of on the same level here. So much like it has been for previous guests, I did send Kylo with some homework prior to stream time. He would play around with the random Metarock kit generator and come up with some designs that we were going to be bringing to the table. And most certainly here, I gotta say, Kylo, I think you got a little excited here. I see 5 different prompts here that you were bringing to the table here tonight. So we're gonna have some fun looking over all of these and figuring out what we want to do with them. So
Yeah.
with that being said, let me go ahead and fire up my stream BGM just so I have that running in the background, so it's not super quiet. And then usual rules apply. If it gets too quiet or too loud or too soft, just let me know and I can turn the volume up or down with it for the stream end. So let me fire that up. Alright, turn it down just a little bit more. Right about there. Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look here at the prompts that you brought with us tonight. You brought with us 5 prompts, so really excited to see what you came up with. Usually I only recommend to folks say like 3 or 4 just to kind of get the concept across, but I honestly love this too because this gives us the ability to kind of look over multiples, and even if you decide, post-stream that you're thinking, oh, I really like this one we didn't go with, well, it's documented here, and we can kind of look it over again if you ever want to revisit it. So we're going to have lots of fun here with this. So option 1 that we're bringing, let me shrink that just a little bit because we'll be having a lot of, there we go. Okay, so option 1 that you brought with us here tonight has there we go, has an animal motif with a kit of Rapid Vulcan, Stealth, I can spell correctly for once, Stealth, Rebuild, with Float Legs, and Tenacity, and a heavy limit of 3. Okay, so before I kind of go into breaking down how exactly this one operates, what kind of made this one stand out to you, Kylo?
Honestly, it was very much like I kind of like imagined like this this cat like android with like a gun on its head.
Okay.
And it can like sneak around.
Okay.
And like a sniper.
Kind of a very heavy dodge build kind of thing. I can see where
Yeah.
you're coming with that. Yeah. So to explain this kit briefly, just to kind of clarify it, Rapid Vulcan is a multi-hitting shooting skill that gets a damage plus for every consecutive use of Rapid Vulcan after that, stacking a certain number of times. If you ever have to use anything else, or you switch skills between turns, you lose your stacks, you have to start all over again. So it's kind of one of those things where once you get started firing it off, that's kind of, you kind of have to stick with it. Stealth is a support skill that makes the user untouchable for their next turn. It allows them to bypass any active shields that are in play, so really good for getting past anyone that is just trying to wall you. And Rebuild is a healing skill that applies a healing over time effect to the self or an ally on the team, so gives it a little bit of control and survivability as long as nothing gets broken. The Float Legs means it also has good terrain control across all terrains with no real drop or feedback or drawback. And Tenacity means it gets a small amount of charge in its gauge for every time an ally's parts get broken or damaged. So it does kind of build itself a charge over time relative to how it synergizes with the team. And of course, a heavy limit of 3 does also mean that it is going to be a fairly bulky fellow, and that might be rather deceiving whether it chooses to be agile or specialized in heavy bulk. So very, very nice design so far. I can definitely see where you're going with this one as far as a overall concept and theme. Now, option 2. Option 2. Let me shrink this down again. Okay. Option 2 also has an animal theme with a kit of RP Shot, Revenge Hammer, Leg Trap, with Tank Legs, and Captor. The heavy limit, I'm gonna assume 3 since tanks always have a heavy limit of 3. But honestly, still a fairly interesting kit overall. Like this is a very strange kit, honestly. So what kind of made this one stand out to you?
Thank God. That's a very strong mech cat.
Honestly, though, I can see where you're going with it, though. Tank Legs does mean it already has a very heavy emphasis on bulk, so that is kind of to be expected. RP Shot basically stands for Repair Plant Shot. It is just a basic shooting skill that will put a repair plant on the field, and the repair plant will proc every time an ally finishes a heating phase and has something damaged but not broken. So, kind of like how Rebuild works with option 1, is it's a progressive healing over time as long as you just keep that trap topped off. Revenge Hammer, though, is interesting because if it can't focus on healing, Revenge Hammer deals a triple damage and AoE bonus if the part's HP is under half. So this kind of works as essentially as a fail-safe to a point, where if you're still not quite outlasting the enemy to a point, you can focus more on raw damage after you've taken a certain number of damage. And Leg Trap also is really nice as another mode of passive aggression, where every time an enemy completes a heating phase and gets to the command line, it deals a small amount of damage to their legs, and will actually break them eventually, as long as the trap stays up to date. And since legs are kind of about 70% of any overall mobility and maneuverability, once those legs go out, you are essentially a sitting duck going forward until those things get fixed. Tank Legs, I did mention as well, emphasize a very heavy bulk and defense and damage reduction. And Captor is nice too, as it means as long as the enemies are not able to, I think it's either dodge or defend, it boosts heating. So you go just a little bit faster if targeting somebody that's not able to guard properly against an incoming attack. So, and you said ultimately with this one, it's just a little bit more of a heavier bulk tank mech kind of design. So I really liked that approach with what you brought with this one. So let me shrink these just a little bit, just so I can kind of fit all 5 prompts we have in here, since we do have a number of them. Now, prompt number 3 that you brought with us tonight. Let's see, let's shrink this again. Before I get lost, I'm actually gonna fire this up here. I probably should have done this sooner. I do humbly apologize for that, Kylo. I probably should have pulled this up sooner if you can keep up with me. Okay, so I have that. So option 3, also with an animal theme. I'm kind of seeing a pattern here. With a kit of slow hammer, hypercharged blade, gunpowder guard, with, what is this, flight legs, and land cruiser, and a heavy limit of 2. Okay, so I'm gonna explain this one briefly before I get your feedback on it, see what you think, and see if that helps any. But this one essentially is kind of trading a little bit of the agility and high speed you normally see with light legs in trade for something with a little more aggression DPS oriented. Slow hammer is an AoE melee skill that inflicts the enemy with a symptom called slow. Slow, as its name kind of implies, is a 50% debuff to heating and cooling of the target. So this means they will be going notably slower, both to the line and from it, making it a whole lot easier to line up and coordinate a whole bunch of stuff or outrun enemies. Hypercharged Blade is another melee skill that gets a damage plus relative to the amount of charge in the user's gauge when attacking. It is fairly expensive though, it eats a pretty fair bit of charge, but for the damage it does offer in trade, I think it is well worth it. But you still can use it at a 0% charge, just won't get any damage bonus on top of that. Gunpowder Guard is a defense skill that, while the ally is placed on the command line, will negate any and all incoming gunpowder attribute skills. Those include anything from missiles to napalm, or anything that goes boom goes 0 as long as this ally remains on the line. The flight legs, like I said, are normally put a fairly heavy emphasis on flight and agility, with just a little bit less emphasis on damage reduction. But the leg ability of Land Cruiser is nice, as it does give it an additional S-rank terrain on wilderness terrain, where normally a lot of other flight legs are usually kind of okay with it, like not the greatest thing on planet Earth, but it will definitely go notably faster and perform a whole lot better on wilderness terrain compared to most others. So what were your thoughts on this one that made it stand out to you, Kylo?
It's literally Metal Gear Solid.
Care to explain?
Solid Snake likes to go around knocking opponents out using CQC, which does require a decent amount of DPS. He's not the fastest one around, but he does get the job done.
Okay, I can definitely see it, and this one definitely puts a lot more emphasis on DPS and aggression more than the previous two, so I could definitely see a lot of possibility with this one if we choose to go with it. Now, option number 4. Work with me, please, CSP. Thank you. Okay, so option 4 you brought to the table is yet another animal theme with a kit of Ghost Shot, Emit Hammer, Meteor, with multi-legs and Carrier, and a heavy limit also of 2. Okay, so this one is about the same as it is with option 3 when it comes to DP as a role as a DPS type. Essentially, Ghost Shot is a shooting attack that gets damage plus relative to the amount of charge in the gauge, but in trade, it also packs Defense Ignore, so it does make it a whole lot easier to pierce any potential guards or defenses that the enemy tries to put against you when attacking, at the cost that you are wide open on your cooldown after such a powerful blow. Emit Hammer is a melee skill that must consume a certain amount of charge in order to activate, but consuming that grants you a double or triple damage bonus as long as you keep that charge, and of course Defense Ignore on top of that. So really powerful 1-2 punch there between 2 CG reliant skills. And then Meteor is a gunpowder attribute shooting skill that after attacking the enemy also applies a damage over time effect to self. However, the perk to that is Meteor gets a damage plus as long as the user can maintain that damage over time effect. So it's a little bit of a here and there essentially if you're willing to trade for it. Multi-legs does give it a little bit more coverage on the ground more than anything else, just a little bit bulkier than biped typically. But the leg ability of Carrier is really nice, as this means anyone that tries to slap it with any kind of negative symptoms that try to stall it or stop it or paralyze it, This model has the opportunity or chance to reverse the ailment back on the afflictor with a reverse Uno card effect. So if they have to suffer with it, they can turn around and give it to them as well. So what about this one overall, Kylo? What kind of made this one stand out to you?
This one kind of reminded me of some things that happen in Armored Core.
Okay. And especially with it focusing on heavy DPS between Ghost Shot and a Mitt Hammer too, so we can definitely have a lot of fun with that as well. And then lastly, the final option that you brought with us here tonight, option 5. We're having a lot of fun discussing these and trying to find a theme more than actually drawing it out, so we're going to be having some fun with this one. Is a machine theme, so we'll change it up just a little bit with a kit of Assault Boost, Suction Break, thank you, Wide Beam, with Wheeled Legs, and Bomber, and a heavy limit of 0. Okay, so this one, looking over, is a little bit of a wild card in the sense that it can either be very beneficial to it, or kind of one that you'd use more for mixed parts across other builds more than you would as a pure set. So to explain option 5, Assault Boost is a support skill that offers a very powerful benefit to scatter type skills. These include things like Gatling, Napalm, Claw attacks, things that basically hit multiple parts at once. And what that does, it includes a damage plus to anything that applies a scatter type effect when attacking. Suction Break is a shooting skill with a gravity attribute, which gives it an ability in heavy punish. So if the enemy is really bulky or heavy, the break or the gravity attribute of it allows you to deal bonus damage. Plus, the suction in it allows you to pull the enemy back to the command line for a little bit of tempered crowd control if you know how to fire it correctly. Wide Beam is an optic attribute skill that has an AoE effect, so it'll damage all the parts of the target at once, instead of a scatter effect much like Assault Boost might. But, given that it is an optic skill, means it gets damage plus relative to charge. Wheeled Legs means it has a fairly good emphasis on overall speed and maneuverability, really picky on the terrains that it's on in particular, but on the ones it is good on, it's a master. And Bomber gives it a damage plus if it's using any gunpowder based skills, so kind of like how it was with option 3, anything that is a gunpowder, missiles, napalm, anything that goes boom basically. And that a heavy limit of 0 means this one is a very lightweight model, likely not focusing too heavily on armor and focusing more on speed or maneuverability. So between these 5 options, what made this one also stand out to you, Kylo?
This one reminds me of the Motor Ball from Final Fantasy VII.
Okay, can you kind of explain that one a little to me? I'm kind of very noobish in the Final Fantasy. I know of it, but I don't know like the details behind it.
One of the last boss fights you fight in Midgar when you're playing Final Fantasy VII, like the OG one, as well as I guess like remake as well.
Okay.
There's this wheeled bomber, kind of mech that is like driving around, and it can shoot. It can shoot missiles. It can shoot beams.
Okay.
It can hit you with its tires.
So a little bit of everything, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, I can definitely see that. And like I said, the only real concern I have with it is the fact that being a scattered kit like this means it may be a little weird to use if you choose to use it as a pure set, but depending on the allies you bring to the field, it might be a fantastic support. So Assault Boost, for instance, might be really good for enemies that like to use scatter skills, and there's a lot of bots that actually specialize in that very, very readily. Whereas you can use Suction Break for coverage, and then Wide Beam for your general DPS as necessary. So honestly, a lot of really good concepts you brought here. It's going to be really tough choosing between all these. But after kind of hearing the breakdown on all of those, kind of as a quick one-on-one, which one of these 5 is kind of standing out to you? So we have a lot of different takes that we can consider. We got a couple good DPS types, a mixed range support, a couple of mixed range interrupt types. So we got a lot of options here.
I think for me it's between like option 1 and option 4.
Okay. Honestly, those are the 2 that I was sitting with as well. because I like the fact that option 1 kind of gives it the ability to, you know, keep itself on the field more the longer it is with rebuild, and rapid Vulcan and stealth kind of allowing it to kind of stay in the fight. And with option 4 being a really heavy DPS with a lot of very good coverage there as well. So honestly, we could go either one of those and not really go wrong. And like I said, if we decide that we want to refine any of the others later, well, we have them all here. There's nothing to say we can't go back and look at them again.
Yeah.
So let me go ahead and take those out so we can compare them. Oops. There we go. Okay, so... Oh no, you said option 1 and option... There we go.
4.
1 and 4. Okay, hold on. There we go. I had the wrong ones up. There we go. That's better. 2 and 4. Okay, so ultimately we have a mix, but we have a toss-up between a interrupt auxiliary, an auxiliary interrupt type, and a heavy emphasis and a heavy DPS emphasis. Take a look at some other stuff here while we're looking that over. Yumi, I see you in chat. Lord of Losers, I see you in chat as well. It's a pleasure to have both of you guys here. Really looking forward, really happy that you guys were able to stop in for a little while.
I'd probably say maybe option 1, 'cause I think it's gonna like last a lot longer.
Honestly, I'd be 100% okay with that. And like I said, being an auxiliary interrupt means it can fill a lot of roles very easily. It does have its mode of being able to fight for a while. The only real drawback to option 1 is the fact that because Rapid Vulcan is a head use, it does run out of charges, and then once it does, it kind of falls back to an auxiliary support. But not that it can really stop it, because it's still fairly good between stealth and rebuild.
Yeah.
So let me go ahead and close those then. And then I will... There we go. Let me shrink this down just a little bit just so I can keep it out of the way. Alright, so now I can work on setting up the rest of the... Okay. So while I'm working on setting this up, so I never really get the chance to ask this of a lot of my guests, but what got you into the Medarot series as a whole? Like, how long have you been into it? What kind of got you in?
Got it. I was like really young at the time, and my parents were... My dad was also watching the show too.
Okay.
And he would buy the toys for me. And I had the toys back then. So I had like Rakusho, I had Metabee, I had the Samurai one, I had the Penguin one.
Okay.
I had the female one. I think I also had the blue one as well, but like they were the ones that you can like take apart and mix and match.
Right. So what kind of made the series stand out to you overall as something that you wanted to like really stick with or kind of follow?
Honestly, like one of the things that sort of like made me still interested in it was the fact that there was a collaboration with Digimon.
Oh yes, that definitely brought a lot of people in, and something I love to tell people as a reminder is that when that collaboration came out, it was so successful that it was made officially Omedamon was actually made canon officially on the Digimon side.
Yeah.
So it's honestly crazy that it made such a massive wave and got so many people into the series on both sides like that.
Yep, because in Digimon, Metabots are Digimon.
Yeah, and canonically too, like Omedamon technically would exist as a, leftover. I think they did explain it properly as like leftover data when it made its form, so it definitely explains itself very clearly too, which is nice.
Yeah. And then there's also Grey Wars, and then there's the one like looks like Garurumon.
Yes.
And then there's the one that looks like Omnimon.
Yep.
And the thing is, like, they had two of them that looked like Omnimon. One that looked like that on the Metabot side, and the other one looked like that on the Digimon side.
Yes, and one thing I actually like to tell people as a fun fact is when that collaboration was first announced back in early 2020, not long after the game not long after Medarot S first launched, actually, they kind of came back and they kind of doubled back about it and says this was nothing more than an artist collaboration between the two sides. One of Medarot's artists, Hyuga, decided to draw a Digimon design, and one of the really popular Digimon artists chose to do one of Digimon Medarot's designs as a Digimon. So they basically said it was just an artist collab, nothing new. And we just kind of sat on it thinking, you know, it'd be really funny if this actually was official. Well, cue a year later, 2021, April Fool's no less, actually, to the date. They came back and basically dropped the collaboration out of nowhere. No warning, no heads up, no, stay tuned in, no nothing. Just suddenly, Omega Knight hit the scene, and alongside him came Grey Wars and Garuru Metal. So it was an absolute, I don't want to say pandemonium, but it was really hard to keep people under control and respectful in the chats that year, because it was just so far out of left field that nobody saw it coming.
And they even double back on that. It wasn't not only just that was in Medarot S. There was also the V pets, and after a while, the V pets are kind of hard to. I mean, the dim cards are kind of hard to get. I'm surprised I even got one.
Oh yeah, they kind of those kind of disappeared quick after the collaboration came up, and the prices for them went skyrocketed too. So it was honestly wild when it came the first time, and then people came back and said, I wonder if the Digimon collab will ever come out. Like, at least, I don't know, like once or twice every couple months I hear someone coming in, I'm looking for the Digimon collab, and I'm like, sorry fam, you missed it by a couple of years. And they're like, well, is it gonna come back? And we're like, I don't know. Well, sure enough, last year it did, and it brought more friends with them that time. They brought more models from Adventure and Adventure 2, and then Tamers on top of that. So that was honestly wild when they brought that back. Okay, so now that we kind of have our template here of what we're working on, let me actually shrink this a little bit just so I can keep it a little more in screen. Just want to give us some more room to work on it. So what are we kind of thinking about overall with this one? Because the concept of animal, we can take it like a million different ways naturally. So what are we kind of thinking with this one overall?
Cat.
Okay, that makes it a little easy. Any particular approach that we want to consider with this one? Especially with it being float-legged, we have a lot of different possibilities we could do with that too.
I do know I want the big ears. It's just the big ears are pretty good.
Okay, so definitely very feline in appearance. We can definitely make that work.
Yeah.
Let me think. We got a couple possibilities on how we could do it.
I mean, have you ever seen Shadow's hover boots?
Okay,
they float.
Yeah, I could see that. We can definitely make that work. Tenacity actually is a pretty good push with that too. So we could definitely do that. Stealth. I'm trying to think of something else we could do with this. Thinking like if there's a specific genus or species of cat that we could use as like a starting point.
A Lykoi cat.
Which one?
A Lykoi cat.
Let me see. Can you spell that for me, please? Just so I can look.
Lykoai.
Koai. I see it. Lykoi cat. Let me see. Ooh, okay. These are rather interesting.
Yeah.
Lykoi. I don't think I've actually ever seen one of these before. That's actually kind of cool looking, like a short-haired cat. Werewolf cats, they're calling them. Okay, I can see it. We can definitely have a lot of fun with that. Take a look here at some ideas. That's kind of cool, honestly. Let's see. Okay, so the yellow eyes are definitely a really big thing with this one too. It looks like so.
Yeah.
It's got to be something that has a really strong and intense gaze kind of appearance. So looking for something a little more serious looking. So let me think. Trying to think of a way that we could do that. We could do maybe the possibility of like a mask. Maybe like use the eyes as like a surprise point. I was trying to think of how we'd make it, how we could use it as a shooting skill. Let's see.
You ever seen Black Manta's eyes shoot?
Black Manta.
From DC Comics.
So kind of like a beam attack?
Yeah.
Okay, I can see it. So let me think. Okay, I have an idea. So how about as an idea, we can do a thing like like I said, a shade to like a mask, but then when it actually goes to like attack, the mask will like flip open, or like the shades come down and the eyes are like, you know, like barrels.
Mm-hmm.
Or think something kind of like that.
Yeah.
So let's let me see here. So what I'm thinking, let's try. I have a vision in my head. I'm gonna kind of dance with this. So let me get my face shape down. Hear me out here while I'm putting this together. I think I have something that might work. So let me about that. Okay, so what I'm thinking of is, let's give it a little bit of a tooth type appearance in here too, because especially with it being called the werewolf cat, I definitely want to try to capitalize on that point too. That was actually kind of a really neat little thing. So what kind of made the Lycoid cat step out to you?
It's because it's what I'm based on.
Gotcha. That's actually kind of cool, honestly.
Yeah.
So let me. Okay, so let's try. Have some fun with this. So, what are your thoughts on kind of like a enclosing the face in like a jaw? What are your thoughts about that? Or do you think we could probably do this another way?
No, that sounds good. That's kind of how Power Rangers Wild Force did it.
You know, that's a good point. We could definitely do it that way. So we'll do that. And then close the head a little bit. Okay.
Oh, I get it. Oh, I understand. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Good idea.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a
The
mask,
ear-
essentially.
Yeah. But the ears could be the guns.
Well, that's a possibility.
If you put them on the side.
What I was thinking of actually is kind of hear me out here, is we're gonna do kind of a I forget what series that was from. I think it's a Super Sentai Dawn Brothers. You know, that really big shade, you know, kind of like a Gurren Lagann style shade that they have, the really pretty ones. I was thinking maybe something kind of like that, but then when it actually goes to fire, it can like remove the shades or something.
I was thinking of something more like the ears can kind of like move to the sides, and they can have like they just shoot the beams out the sides of the ears.
Okay, I could see that. So maybe instead of maybe like okay, I can see the vision. So what if we were to do, say, like small cannons coming out of the ears instead of like that little like fluff that you usually see that you see in them?
Oh yeah,
something like that. So maybe.
Yeah.
So let me. See if I can. There we go. That kind of works. So something kind of like that. Let me clean this up a little bit. A little particular on cleaning things up because I can follow lines up to a point, but then after that I get lost. So what made you kind of decide on the Lycoid cat for your motif?
So I was just like struggling to find like, okay, like what is a cat like not too many people know about? And I was like, wait a minute. What is this? And I go click on the image, and I'm like, what kind of cat is this? So I start looking at it. It's like, oh, this is a werewolf cat.
Okay.
Come later on to find out, oh, it's a Lycoid cat. I was like, oh, that's cool. A werewolf cat, Lycoid cat. I like the color scheme. I think that'd look pretty good on a VTuber.
You know, we're gonna do the eyes just a little bit bigger. These eyes are like really intense. They had some like really intense bright eyes.
Oh yeah.
So
And plus, being a werewolf cat, it's like it's not quite a dog, but
right.
it's like nearly there.
So what I'm thinking of, we could do the visor a number of different ways. What I'm thinking of is we could just do a straight visor, kind of like a Smilodon and Warbonnet, where it's just like a straight visor underneath it, kind of like that. Or would you rather have like an expressive eye built into it, like a monitor?
You ever seen one of the Zaku's where they move the eyes?
It's like a mono eye?
Move the eye? Yeah.
Okay, I could see
Because the mono eye could look like the tongue.
I was literally about to say, like, we could do something like that, honestly. So what I'll do then, let's cut the vocal line, like, really low down. And then do just a single eye. Kinda like that. And it'll look better once I color it in, obviously, but obviously it's something kind of like that, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, so then what I can do next, let me actually fix this, because this looks kind of funny to me now. So let's do... Actually, I don't even think it'll be visible from this angle. So let's do... Actually, I kind of like that the way it looks. However, I really do like... I have to see what it looks like though. Hold on. I have to concept it, see what it looks like. So let's try. So kind of like that. And I'm thinking maybe like make it transparent or something.
Yeah.
Something kind of like that essentially. Kind of give it a little bit of a coolness factor.
Yeah.
So I think I'll do that. So let me hide this. Let me hide this real quick, just make sure I know how these lines look. Okay, actually those are pretty solid. Nice. Nice. Okay, Alright, I'll just keep that transparent for the time being. Let's see. Lotto says in my chat, not insulting the art, the head reminds me of FNAF design with how big the mouth is. I mean, honestly, I could see it. So what I'm thinking of we could do, if we want to go with that, maybe something... Well, with the idea of like of adding a lichen-based theme to it, does also add another factor we can consider with the design. So what I'm thinking... We could go for... You want to go for maybe like a classy appearance? Kind of like a formal style kind of Lycoi? Or do we want to go for a more feral looking design?
I'd say like feral, battle ready.
Gotcha. Alright, so let me modify something on these again real quick, because that shape's not bugging me. Let's just close it all the way in. Oops. Just a little more feral in design. Okay, we can definitely make that work. That's better. Actually, hold on, let me try it this way. I want to kind of give it a distinct shape to kind of help it stand out. There we
Yeah.
go. Something like that. And then I'll go back and color that on a separate layer, just kind of help it stand apart. Okay. So we're thinking something a little feral. So I'm thinking maybe like a stylized torn shirt or something? Or do you want to go like a bare furred chest?
A cloak.
Ooh, cloak. That could work. And that could give us a lot of possibility with the arm design, too. And the shoulders, especially. So what I'm thinking is... So let me kind of emulate kind of what they did with... Well, let me actually get my torso shape here first, just so I know where to build from. Turn my ruler off, okay. So what I'm thinking of we could do... I'm gonna kind of emulate what they did with the anime style Rokusho they released a couple of years back. Is I'm gonna part the cloak in different pieces, and then different pieces of the cloak can actually appear like on the shoulders as like continuations.
Okay.
So like, just to kind of sample it here. So like, say if this is the top of the shoulder is the cutoff. We could do like one piece of the cloak. Hold on, let me put a bolt on here real quick. There we go. We can do like something kind of like that on one. On the other, this one will Carry a little farther down. Something kind of like that, basically. And then we could do like a longer, kind of like a longer cloak in the back.
Yeah.
So, since I'm already on the shoulders, I'll just go ahead and keep working on them. But what I'm going to do as well is, I'm actually going to add another bulb to do... So we're definitely going to go with a very heavy, asymmetrical design with this one, but honestly that's still really nice though, because you can get a lot of really unique stuff out of asymmetrical designs. So maybe, let's see. So while I'm working on this, what kind of moving on to another topic of discussion, what kind of made you decide to want to step into the VTuber realm?
I was watching, so this is how it started. A long time ago, I used to run a podcast under my past life, and I made the joke of, oh, what if I became a VTuber?
And you're like, it would be hilarious. It'd be hilarious, unless...
What if and like, I wasn't super serious about it at the time either. I was just, joking about it, like, oh, VTubers, And then, I stumble upon a Zentreya stream, and I'm like, maybe there is something here with this. And I start looking into it, and I start, trying to see, how do I get a VTuber model? I'm like, oh, okay, well, live 2D models, they could be expensive, like super expensive at the time.
Right.
They still sort of are, but
oh yeah,
more people are out there making them, so prices are a little bit better. So I started like learning how to do stuff in Vroid.
Okay, yeah.
And I was doing that for a while. Funnily enough, I am working on something in Vroid now, but I do have a live 2D model. I do have PNG models. I do have other 3D models that I've made before or had gotten made for me. But for like the longest time, I was kind of like just learning how to do VTubing stuff. Uh-huh. So I already knew how to do all the streaming stuff, like just how to get the stream ready and all that, all that stuff.
Because you already had an idea from previous.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you just kind of figured, well, if I'm going to be going in, I may as well go all in on it, and just kind of stuck with it since, right?
Kind of. It's just, I got really, really attached to the technology behind it.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, oh, I could stream anonymously. That means my face isn't out there. And not only that, I feel like I could be a little bit more expressive with how I am, because like when I was like first streaming for a while, I was like I wasn't gonna talk very much. Now I talk all the time.
Oh yeah, that's actually something that's been really nice with the VTubing community too. Is the anonymity, like you said, is the ability to be able to. Let me touch base on my BGM real quick just so it doesn't die out on me. Is the anonymity, is the fact that people can kind of step away from real life for a while and just kind of, even if just for a couple hours a night or something, like actually assume, a different persona, a different feeling, kind of express themselves in different ways. So it's honestly amazing, like just how big the VTubing community has grown, how many different types and designs there are. I mean, looking for instance at just pick any theming out of a hat. Say for instance cats, cat-based VTubers. You could literally find at least 100 different kinds, and no two of them would be the same. Even if they use the same motive of, say, like a black cat. And that's honestly something that I really liked about it, is the ability to come up with unique designs from the ground up like that.
Yeah, it really does help, like, spur the creative process, because, like, not only that, like, I was also previously, I'm still in the FGC as well, to an extent, but, I was also in there, and it kind of, like, kind of helped put my foot in the door with, like, a lot of other things, and now I'm, like, past 2 years also in the Linux community too, so it's definitely
and making connections too, like
a
lot of people kind of knock on it saying, oh well, it's not really all that versatile, you're just meeting other people. No, some of these people get to be like very influential in the community. I mean, Zen Zen is a great example. Mousy is another one. Like there's a reason that she earned, rightfully so, content creator of the year. There's a reason she earned it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, it's not just because, like, we have, like, people who have been doing it a lot longer than us, but that's, like, not really Like it's supposed to help motivate people. Like it's not so much that you're comparing yourself to them.
Right.
It's just that like you're essentially just like just trying to do your best as well, because maybe one day you might be able to collab with them on an unexpected day. Like you won't know what day it will be, but it could happen.
Yeah, exactly.
But I am glad that I was able to like meet a bunch of people in the VTuber community, especially people like Sane, Babby Whiskey, Orange is Borange, Neon Harper, like a bunch of people. And I mean there's way more than that as well. Like Falco, I know who Falco is, Gold Guardian.
Yes, and again, it's just honestly amazing because you don't think too much at first glance. Like, oh, this person has, say, 5,000-6,000 or even just 2,000 followers. There's no way they'd notice me. And then you collab once with them and suddenly they're like your best friend, where you're like DMing like every other day or something. Yeah,
and it really just depends like on how tight-knit they are with their own work as well, because like they might not be able to answer all the time, but that's everybody has their own lives behind the VTubing and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I mention to Sane all the time too when we want to possibly put a plan together, or think of an idea for a game or something we want to do, and they say, oh, I'm just really busy, I'm so sorry I didn't get back to you. I'm like, listen, I see what you're doing like every day. I follow you for a reason. Don't apologize. It's fine.
Oh yeah, because we're all busy. Like for me recently, it's been kind of wild because I basically have essentially filled a void with like Linux VTubing, because like not too many people have that everybody has a void that they can fill.
Yes.
For me, it's Linux VTubing. Like, I play video games on the side as well, but the main thing that people like to see from me is VTuber tutorials with like Linux stuff, and then me helping them out like offline or online.
Right.
Which I've done multiple times before.
And it's very similar with me and Metarod. Is I saw a need. Actually, I'm going to parrot one of the most iconic phrases from one of my favorite movies, DreamWorks Robots. It's see a need, fill a need. There was a need in a community, and we just kind of took it upon ourselves to fill that need. It was just not really much, not much about it. And it's amazing how, again, just kind of bouncing on my own thing for a minute, I never imagined, when I first started this, I fully expected that I was just going to be some really forgotten VTuber or content creator before I even became a VTuber, that no one's going to follow, because I already knew ahead of time, Metarot stuff was going to be super niche. Like, if anyone found it at all, I would have been genuinely shocked. But then, sure enough, after about 6 months or so of me putting stuff out there, people started coming in and says, hey, wait, is this really the series I think it is? And they're freaking out over it, going, man, I thought this series died. And, it's just really nice seeing that, that the love is still there. And all these years later, people are still doing it. And I'm just really glad that even people affectionately call me the Metabots guy. And I'm like, listen, there was a need, and I filled it because, nobody else was doing it.
I went into this VTuber's Discord today, and I started like just putting a random emote in there. It's like, no, they're not going to use Linux. Like, I'm the Linux guy now.
Yeah,
that's just who I am.
Yeah, exactly. But honestly, though, it's kind of nice though. Like, I use the term affectionately now when I'm introduced on other people's channels. I say, you guys may know me affectionately as the Metabots guy, but it is a pleasure to be here. And I'm obviously not going to toot my own horn enough where like that's the only thing people talk about. But it's just kind of nice that it's recognizable. Like when people see me somewhere, and it's kind of the really big thing with content creation is getting yourself out there, and are people going to recognize you? And sure enough, it's a tag that I fought for, that I fought with and struggled and built for myself, and it's it paid off. Let's see. So it's just really nice being able to do that, and then as you kind of see your work benefit from it, it just kind of you just kind of watch it happen after a while, and just kind of have to change and evolve with it as you go.
Oh yeah, it's definitely that, because because eventually it's going to get to the point where it's like some people hit this imposter syndrome kind of thing, and some people don't know how to handle it. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, well, I mean, everybody has their own struggles with stuff, like, because people will end up suffering from success. Like, everybody's done it.
Yes.
Eventually, if you survive through that, which most people should, you're just gonna get to the point where you don't even have to mention it. People will just know.
Yeah.
Or they'll reach out to you and they'll like I've been having people like in my YouTube comments, people go into my Discord, talk to me about stuff. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. It's like I've had people thank me, hey, thank you so much for making this guide to help me get away from Windows with like all their horrible practices right now.
Oh yeah.
And
definitely.
I was able to like essentially just move away from predatory practice like that. And people have been moving to that and
Yeah, and
like
and it's that recognition
honestly
that kind of
good.
gives it's that recognition and that acknowledgement people give you. I've actually had people reach, friend me on Discord, even if it's only for like 5 or 10 minutes, and given all the stuff that's floating around with Discord right now, I'm like super leery when people send me friend requests out of the blue.
Oh yeah.
But no, they'll reach out to me and say, hey, I found your stuff on YouTube and you're doing the good work with the with delivering the Metabots content. And I'm like, you know what? It's just nice, the ability to be recognized and acknowledged for what you do, because
Oh yeah.
in a world where anyone can do anything and anyone can be a VTuber, a content creator, you have to find something that helps you stand apart. Like what makes, say for instance, in your case, what makes KYLONEKO different from any other Neko themed or even Lycoi Cat themed VTuber, if there's others out there. And your big calling card is the fact that you do all the Linux guides, and you became the Linux VTuber. So if anyone tries to look for VTubing with Linux, they're absolutely going to find you.
Oh, they will. They'll find it on Google and DuckDuckGo. Like, if you type in the Linux guide to VTubing or VTubing on Linux, you will find something from me there.
Yes.
It has snowballed that much.
And honestly, it's just really nice when that happens. I mean, like when I did my What Is Metarock collab back last year, or rather even before that, people look up Metabot stuff on YouTube. Sane actually made the joke about it during that collab. I'm like the first name that comes up when people look up specific names of Metarots, like on Google Images or whatever, because I've covered all of them. Like there's not one I have not covered before, because I've gone into that level of detail explaining what they are and how they work. But yeah, even with the What Is Metarock collab, it's like what I call it one of my crowning jewels, because that's what it is. It's the biggest thing I'm most proud of. If people look me up, that's what they're gonna find.
Oh yeah.
Look at the tail on these things. What do the tails look like on Lycoi cats? Okay, fairly small, kind of short-haired, wiry looking. Okay. So what I'm thinking... Something like that. Just a simple tail. What I'm thinking is... really tie into the floating theme here. There we go. So how are we looking so far?
Looks pretty good. You're cooking.
Yeah, we got a concept here going.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. Let me clean up this.
I do feel like one of the things that people are gonna have to like when it comes to content creation, like you shouldn't be afraid to deviate. So if you ever wanted to like shift away from Metabot content, but not completely.
Yes. That definitely is
I feel like you should be comfortable to do so.
Yes. That's a really big struggle I actually see a lot of people mention and talk about is, I want to do other content. And I've thought about the same thing for a while. In fact, in my case, it's more along the lines of when I wanted to explore other brain work with me, please, other platforms like Twitch, as we were talking about before stream. My original idea was, if I was going to deviate and try checking out some other outlets, I was going to use the other platform as like the non-Metarot related stuff. But I don't know. It just kind of tracks and changes. But at the bottom line, at the end of the day, the thing to keep in mind to remember is it's your channel. So even if people call me the Metabots guy, for instance, it's not the only thing I offer. It's just what I'm best known for. So it's just like when I actually had my first stream. Actually, I'll do that. Actually, let me increase the size of the nose. When I did my first official stream back last year, I actually sent it to a friend of mine because they're getting ready to debut their new 2.0 model. So I said, hey, you can use my re-debut 3.0 stream as a template if you're looking for ideas. And I played Dark Cloud 2, and I played that for several weeks, like every Sunday, very consistently, as I was just kind of advancing through the game and the story. It's not Metarot related, but it's my channel. I can do what I want with it. Let's see. So what could we do with the arms? That gives us a lot of possibility, especially with 2 support-based arms. What are we thinking so far?
It's looking pretty good.
Yeah, I just have to figure out what to do with the hands. So, I mean, we could do just basic cat, feline-type paws. I'm just trying to think of what else we could do to kind of make it stand out a little.
You know those like you did like the cat statues, where you have like one hand up and one hand kind of like down. Thinking like that.
Okay, so I could reconstruct the cloak a little bit, and we could just make the arms kind of like static, so they wouldn't be like articulated. We could do that.
No, I mean they could be articulated. I'm talking about like the hand.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Like one of them can have like a claw.
Yeah.
And the other one could be like the hand that would do the repairs.
Yeah.
But it's like, but it's like showing its palm.
So we could do like. So what I'm thinking that what we could do is maybe do like both of them the same basic shape, but we'll have one with claws out and then one with no claws.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that. Okay. Symmetry also is really nice too. So let's do. Look at that. And one of the biggest tricks with original design like this is just trying to figure out how to make it all fit,
Oh yeah.
I mean, like, there's lots of different cat types, for instance. What's gonna make this one stand apart? That's always one of the biggest things I keep in mind when putting designs together. Okay, so okay, so let me turn symmetry off real quick. Let me try this another way. Don't need to do it on this arm because this one's covered by the cloak. Okay, something like that. What we can do is on this side. Hold on. So then, kind of touching back on the VTuber question and kind of what got you started. What are some because I know we've talked a lot about what makes you stand apart, what makes what kind of got you started. What is something that you kind of wish you knew sooner when you got started that you know now?
Honestly, it's just don't get too absorbed into somebody else's drama, because most of the time it's just not worth it. And VTubing Twitter has shown us time and time and again that if you just ignore it and you just focus on the people that matter, it's like it never happened.
Stay in your own little corner, basically.
Yeah, it's kind of like I say, like I often say sometimes, like when I'm like disappeared all of a sudden, because I've had people say, "Oh, why'd you disappear?" It's like I'm asleep. But
yeah, naturally,
it's it's because like I essentially like I live under a rock until I feel like not living under a rock. Like I'll come out of the rock, I'll talk to people, I'll do what I gotta do, then my social battery will run out, and I have to like lay down for a little bit. Of course, it depends on the day too, because like a day like today, I'm fine. Like I got enough sleep. I got enough like I'm fine. But like say it's like a working day, and I come off work, I only come out to peek out for like a little bit, and maybe stream some. Like eventually, I'll hit my limit. Where I'm like, okay, I gotta go back under my rock.
Yeah, exactly. I need my hidey hole.
Yeah.
Let's see. Tying it on the back end. So I'm thinking something kind of like this so far. What do you think?
Yeah.
The cloak was a really good idea too, to kind of give it that that disappearing edge thing.
Now for the other arm, I'm thinking like, because the claw's fine. I'm thinking like that arm could be like the one that doesn't have the claws on it could be like an open palm.
Okay.
Because that's where the repair ability is coming from.
Yeah. So let me. Okay, my symmetry ruler's off. So let me get this out then.
And there could be like healing symbols on it, like where like the little
Like toe
beans, little toe beans, yeah.
So let me see here.
So I think it'd be pretty good because like then it gives you like the he's got some close range, right, in case it runs out of the Vulcan, but then there's also the repairability aspect. Yeah. Because I've seen some of the stuff in like the Metabot show where they have like odd arms.
Yes, asymmetry is definitely something you see a lot of in the series, and it's something that's very fun to expound upon too, because you can do it. You can take it a million different ways and never go wrong. I actually emphasize that very strongly when we run our art contests. Is a lot of people say, "Oh, I want to come up with something, but my art skill sucks." Yeah, and I'm not saying I'm no Van Gogh either.
Oh yeah.
Actually, no, fix that. There we go. That's actually pretty good. I'll leave that alone. So I'm thinking, because you were saying using the ability symbols. So let's see. There we go. Let me fix this center beam too. Let's see. That's a little better. So I'm thinking, what kind of symbol could we use though? Because I know like the plus cross symbol is a really good start. I'm just trying to think of how we could incorporate that.
I'm thinking it could be in the middle paw. Huh?
Here's an idea. What about kind of tying back into the theme of it being a werewolf cat? What if we put like a kind of like a silver cross built onto the other paw? What are your thoughts?
Yeah,
on
that could work. Yeah, because like the silver bullets.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. So. Like that. There you go. And then on the side of the paw, there would just be a straight cross going all the way down.
Yeah.
We're cooking. I dig it.
Yeah.
Kind of like that, basically. I dig it. We got ourselves a pretty good concept here. So let me see. Reposition myself. Got myself a can of cheer wine over here to keep me going. Let's see. Carolinian specialty. You haven't lived till you tried it at least once.
I don't drink alcohol.
That's fair.
I do drink energy drinks though, so
well,
not like I'm doing much better.
Well, basically, Cheerwine, the way I describe it to people, especially to non-Carolinians, is it's basically like a sweeter Dr. Pepper. So, it's, I mean, people can argue, oh, I've had Dr. Pepper before. Well, You're right. Like it's in the same vein, but you know, it stands out. You know, it's something that you have to say that you tried at least once.
Have you ever thought about like modeling the Metabot models as like VTuber models?
I actually have in the past. Before I got into VTubing officially, I
Ooh.
was very strong into the 3D modeling game, and I've done a lot of custom 3D models where I'll take Orimeda designs from the Japanese contest that were never made official, and I kind of give them a second light where I'll like model it completely in 3D.
Ah.
So I've done it before, especially back in like early VR chat days. I just haven't done it in a very long time.
Ooh.
Let's see. So what I'm thinking of.
I also think it'd be cool if you had like a 3D printer and you somehow put it in like a
That
CAD
would
file to
be-
make it like a buildable model.
That would be really fun, honestly. I've always wanted the concept of being able to put a 19, there we go, to do a 3D printer with stuff, but unfortunately, I just don't have the space or the funds to pick one of those up. So it just never really took off. I'd like one, but it's just too expensive. Okay, so I'm gonna hide this briefly so I can work on this. So I have an idea for the shades as well to kind of make them stand apart. So I said I was going to do them as like a transparent or like semi-transparent.
Yeah.
And obviously for this one, we're going to be using kind of a lot of darker tones, a lot of grays and blacks for the color. But as we're kind of putting that together...
Maybe some purples and blues and yellows.
Yeah, because I know we're going to have some very strong yellow when we get to coloring the eyes for sure. It's definitely going to be something that contrasts and stands out. Merge these two layers down. Oops. Merge these two, please. Thank you. There we go, kind of like that. And I can add a proper color layer here. Alright, so we want very strong, bright golden eyes. So let me just hide that for the time being. I'll actually put this back up. There we go. Something that's going to really make it pop underneath the shades. Like that, essentially. What do you think?
Yeah. Looks pretty good.
Something to really make it pop. Now, let me take a look here. So, like koi cats, they typically have darker colored nose, so I can stick with the black. So, the color I think is going to be the biggest trick. Just so it doesn't look like one great big pile of gray.
I would say mix in purples and blues. Because those are the closest things to black and gray.
Okay. I do see a lot of skin tone as I'm looking at the Lycoy cats again. Especially where the hair is the shortest on their face and on the undersides of the bellies. So we could include we can include that in there too.
Yeah.
So let me think. Okay, so what I'll do... color the inside of the ear first. Because I want to get the base coat on there first, and I'll go back and color over it. Okay. So a little bit lighter color. Actually add a little tinge of brown in there too. There you go, like that. So what I'm thinking. Honestly, though, look, kind of calling back to a comment you made as well on kind of staying in your own lane. What are kind of some experiences that you can bring to the table that you've mentioned to kind of cement that point, like in your learning process, in your learning endeavor as a content creator?
Honestly, if somebody's coming at you with like a problem that's out of your scope, and on paper it sounds okay, yeah, maybe try to defend them, and then they continue to do it to other people, and it starts to become a pattern, and they want to keep dragging you in. You gotta see like the red flags. Like if they're gonna try to drag you in every time or expect you to like write things for them, don't do that. It's not worth your time. It's mentally draining. You lose time. Like for me, I felt like I lost like a lot of streaming days just trying to essentially write for like people, and like not something I want to do.
Yeah.
Not ever. I do not want to go ghostwrite in Twitter documents at all.
Yeah, I imagine.
Which I have ghostwritten a couple.
Yeah, I was about to say, I imagine that has a weight of experience behind it.
It does, because you have to like do your own you have to do your own research. You have to see if this person is telling the truth. You have to like, and this isn't like, oh, I would do this because like I thought it was a good idea. It's like, oh, I would do this because I thought I was doing something good. And then come to later on, you find out, oh, this person's actually not. They continue to drag people into their own problems. Maybe they're the issue.
Yeah. Honestly, I think a lot of people kind of getting that feeling with the whole Cinder situation that just fired back up again.
Yeah.
Because I heard a lot. Because I was reading and keeping up with the initial comments when the Google Docies first dropped, and might I say, people were just to say that brutality,
it's all over the place.
Yeah, brutality doesn't even begin to describe just how nasty people got, and a lot of people were saying it was rightfully deserved, and I agree. What actually happened was absolutely terrible, but a lot of people just kind of looked at it and went, wow, that's just kind of like really nasty. But then, with the new document that came out and people talking about it, they're like, well, hold on a second, maybe there was a little bit of truth behind that.
Yeah.
And suddenly, like Nano pops up with a document that kind of corroborates even just a couple very small points, and people are like, okay, wow, we were nasty, yeah, but I think we were probably we need to be nasty toward like more than one person. I'm like, no, you don't, really.
Yeah.
It's
also like,
it's
also it's a huge mess. There's also the thing. It's like not only like do you really need to like stay in your own lane with a lot of situations. It's more like, if it gets to the point where you can't trust somebody, make sure you keep your receipts. Because I've had people, like, I don't do this anymore because obviously it's a bad idea. But I've had people like try to say this person did something, and I was like, okay, well, can you show me like what they did? And they couldn't show me.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like, or did you sit like, or depending on your state laws, can you give me like a recording of what they did? And they couldn't do that.
Yeah.
So like, you got to really watch out for that kind of stuff. And like, I don't do any of that stuff anymore. Like, I have my own I'm focusing on my own things like Linux and stuff. Like, eventually I'm gonna have like a 2.0 coming up for like my models, a bunch of other projects I want to work on too. I don't have time for anybody's stupid drama.
Yeah.
Now if it's like a close friend, and I'm able to be there to back them up, that's different.
Right.
But if it's like,
if it's just some random
somebody,
some random stranger.
If it's somebody that I was introduced to that I don't know very well, I'm gonna be a little bit more like weary of that. And I've talked to people about this before. I won't say who, and they've told me, yeah, you've done the right thing to kind of like just not get involved.
Oh yeah, I definitely have.
That way it doesn't like come back at you, even though you didn't really do anything.
Yeah, I've had pretty similar situations to that too. Actually, I actually had a former friend as a really good example.
Ooh.
Let me see. Actually, should I go with the gray for the inside of the barrels, or should I go with the white, kind of like I did here?
No, looks good.
Okay.
Add some variants.
But Yeah, long story short, what happened, it was shortly after Has-Been Hotel really became a thing and really hit the scene. But and naturally all the communities are going all over the place on Twitter and on Discord and on especially on VR chat in those early days. But
Yeah.
a former friend of mine, apparently she and this other chick in the community just really had it out for each other. Like I don't know what started it, but it just got really, really messy. And they would keep constantly talking to us, and we were friends for like 4 or 5 something years at that point. So we were like in their corner no matter what happened. Almost ride or die, but you know, we had our fun with each other. But yeah, they mentioned, yeah, apparently this person started doxing them, and we're like kind of riled up now. We're thinking, oh, you don't do that to a friend. What's going on? And it reaches ahead to the point where where basically it got to the point that they were doxing each other on both sides. They were sending death threats and everything like that. It was really, really,
Damn.
really messy. And eventually it got to the point where the other chick basically threw one of the voice actors from Has-Been's name around and says, I'm friends with this guy and I can get him, he can get you shut down because this is getting out of hand. So, needless to say, I saw the receipts for these conversations because she's basically sharing them with us one-to-one. So I did my own research one afternoon, and I emailed the voice actor because his contact email is up there, and I just said, hey, I really hate to bug you, but I'm having a situation with a friend of mine, and they used your name around. I saw a tweet that you made a comment on saying if anyone's using my name like that, it's bogus, and I was just curious if it was related to the situation. And they says, oh no, it's 100% associated with the situation. I'm sorry for everything that's going on with your friend. I do wish the best. Really, really, really nice guy, by the way. He took it like an absolute champ. But I kind of went back with that information. Says, okay, yeah, so their entire claim was bogus. So don't, if they're throwing that thread around, don't bother with it.
Yeah.
And eventually it reached a head where, actually, let's go with the violet cloak. Let's make that fun.
Yeah.
Like a violet faded cloak. Oh yeah, just like that. So it got to the point where basically a really close friend of the voice actor pulled me and my friend aside for a private conversation after they pulled the other person for a friend. And I could understand the friend was a little miffed because, his friend, the voice actor, got dragged into this drama 100% needlessly. There was literally no reason to be dragged into that. So his tone was a little fiercer, a little firmer than what you think, and I just kind of let it slide off my back. So I'm like, okay, he's just really miffed right now. I'm not gonna take it to heart. And basically, he just told him outright, listen, you and this other chick need to just don't talk at all. I'm literally telling you this right now. Do not associate with each other. Like he was just like laying down the law kind of tone. And obviously that was kind of the end of it. I never heard from either of them again. The friend or the voice actor, naturally, because they're super famous and I'm not. And it actually got to the point where they almost caused almost caused a nuclear meltdown in the entirety of the Has-Been community. And if I recall,
that's crazy.
They both basically got banned for life from like any Has-Been communities at all, either on Discord
that's crazy.
Or on Discord or VR chat. I'm like, wow, just wow.
That's almost as bad as the I had a fork drama recently. So basically in my situation, I was essentially that like the voice actor, but it's like a different kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm the author of the VTuber guide, and I had this other. I'm not gonna name who they are. But I had this other person. I'm talking with them. I talk with them regularly. They were making the wiki at the time, and a website gets made without my knowledge, and I'm like, okay, I'm not sure what's going on. I'm just a little bit upset that I just wasn't made aware of it immediately. But I end up start talking with the dude who was making the website, and I get to know who he is, and I'm like, okay, well, he's pretty cool. I kind of handled it, kind of give him the consent, just put my Creative Commons license on the website, and everything should be good. If you need anything from me, just let me know. And then the person who was like taking it way too seriously, and I was like asleep, because I was playing Mega Man Zero like the night before till like 4 a.m. I wake up around like 4 p.m. and I start seeing messages, and everybody in this other person's server, which this person was originally in, start going, okay, hey, yeah, Kylo, we know it's not you doing this and stuff. But I go ahead and start looking at the Gitbook comments. It's like it all got deleted, and I'm fucking furious. I'm fucking pissed. But I'm not so mad for like I'm like saying things I'm gonna regret.
Right.
I'm mad to where I'm like saying things like I'm telling the absolute truth to this person. Like you cannot go around doing that. Stuff like my Codeberg, that is public information. That is publicly accessible. The only thing that somebody can't do is sell it
Right.
because it's public stuff. But they can reuse it. They can put it in any
Mhm.
projects they want to, and they have to
Right.
credit me.
Just credit the source.
They have to credit the source. That's it. Well, you can't go around getting mad, then making posts, and then and then essentially, because this person was also supposed to, also was supposed to have been my friend. Well, I found out real quick they didn't, they just weren't my friend at that point.
Oh yeah.
Because they didn't understand where I was coming from with this. They're like, "Oh, I'm gonna take my leave now," and I'm like, "I don't recall hiring you. I think you volunteered."
Yeah.
So it's like, all right. So I start talking with the other dudes, even more. And, the website's pretty fleshed out. It's pretty good. I made some art for the website and everything's pretty good on that. And I'm start talking with them like, hey, I'm sorry about this other person. I have no idea what they were doing.
Yeah.
Like at first, like, yeah, maybe I was a little upset, but I wasn't like, oh, I'm going to like take this down. Like, no, I was like, just just give me credit.
Yeah. That's
Talk to me.
That's literally how I'm at with stuff too. Like I actually had someone come and ask me in private, says, "Hey, I'm working on making a Metabots RP in a private server. I just want to know if I can, post links to your videos." I'm like, "Yeah, I bet. Go do it. Just credit back to me. Make sure the links just go back to my channel and you're good." But
Yeah.
yeah, it's really not that hard. Like that's honestly one reason
You got to credit people.
Exactly, and that's why I have very, very strict rules. Well, I don't want to say they're super strict, but I'm very strongly enforcing the rules, both on the Discord, which is usually pretty good about it, but also on the Facebook community that I'm running for Metabots. And I just tell them, listen, if you're going to post art, credit the source. Find whoever drew it and give them a link. That they put that art together for a reason. They deserve it. And I also clarify, so also just letting you guys know, Pinterest doesn't count, because Pinterest does a horrible job of making sure it goes back to the original source. So
Yeah.
I just make it very clear. I'm willing to help you guys out and talk with you guys if something happens, but just honor some rules. It's really not that hard. And actually, just recently, a really good example. Let me see. Should we do silver or gold for the belt buckle?
I think silver would be good, because then it wouldn't clash with the eyes.
That's what I'm thinking. Maybe something kind of like that. But actually, a really good example is recently. There was a couple of users in the Facebook community that were posting AI art, saying, "Oh, this is my OC and my Metabot." I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool, but I have a rule on there saying that we do not allow AI-generated art. And I deleted it and gave that person the proverbial warning, through Facebook's moderation system, which isn't really good. And I just told them, and I just hope they got the message and said, hey, just knock it off. We don't have that here. And I noticed, like, an hour later that apparently there were, like, 2 other posts that I missed, because I'm the only one running a group of, like, 50,000 people on there. So I delete those, and I just outright ban the guy. And I say, alright, clearly they didn't get the memo the first time. The most recent one was, like, 10 minutes after I gave them the second warning, so clearly they didn't get the memo. So I just told them outright, so this person's banned, they're not allowed back, and this is why. So finally, it gets to the point where I'm just, alright, fine. Apparently people aren't getting the memo, so I'm going to put a post out, and I'm just going to make it abundantly clear. So I tell the folks, alright guys, listen, I've noticed it poked around a reason, so I just want to reiterate a couple things. First of which is, read the rules, please. You have to literally read them in order to be acknowledged as a member of the community for a reason. And I said it that way on purpose. Please read them. And then the other one was along the case of no AI art, and I reiterated that point. We do not support it. I will not openly report for it in this community, and if you want to do AI art, take it elsewhere. And for the most part, it was pretty well received. Like, a lot of people said, good, I don't have to leave the group, or, good riddance, or whatever. So it felt really nice. But over the last couple days, I've noticed there were a couple of members that apparently just got really sour about it, and it just helped make my life easier to prune some folks out, saying, like, I don't know why people are so big on this, or, like, why it's such a big deal, because, it's basically, the way of the future, and what about people that can't draw and whatnot. And I commented on one of these before he got really mouthy with someone else, and said, listen, there is literally no skill requirement where someone is unable to pick up a pencil and start drawing. There is no skill requirement for it, and no one's asking you to draw a Van Gogh right from square one. Draw something, and improve on it, come back and change it later. It's not that hard. And people are like, well, people can't pay artists to make stuff either. No one said you had to. I mean, literally, most of the stuff that I use in my streaming is stuff that I drew or I designed myself. And because I didn't have the money to be able to afford, you know, commissioning an artist. And as much as I openly support, you know, if I can afford it, obviously, supporting artists and commissioning them for stuff, there's just comes points where you have to make all your own stuff. All my assets, my stickers, my emotes, my 3-year and my 4-year anniversary videos I made were handmade. I made everything for it.
Yeah.
So it's not that hard. Just pick up a pencil, play around with it, and just have fun. But
some people have this like it's like a different thing. Like some people say that they're absolutely not creative or anything. It's like, well, everybody has a different like
style
of like drawing and a different style of like how you would go about drawing something. Like just trying to say like, oh, I don't have a lot of time, oh, I go to work, like drawings can take as little as 5 minutes or as long as 5 hours. Like you have to like,
you don't have to do it
give
all in
yourself
one sitting either.
Yeah, you have to give yourself at least enough leeway to like create something. Like I'm working on a drawing still. I'm not done with it, but I'm still working on it in Krita. Am I worried about, oh, do I have the time to do it? No, because drawing is supposed to take time.
Yeah.
This is why AI art is like probably this is why AI, well, time isn't, drawing's an investment. Especially with like, even if you're making music too, because it's also following across the same thing.
Oh man.
Or if you're even editing a video or writing something, like they're all like their own arts in their own respect.
Yeah.
It's like I edit my own videos. Am I super amazing at it?
Yeah.
No. Am I horrible at it? No.
Yeah, I can't tell you how often, and it annoys me to no end, I can't tell you how often I've started seeing AI art, you know, AI music videos on YouTube, and some of them have some really good beats to them. Like it's something that someone would actively listen to, you know, as something casual on the side. And then I found out it was an AI generated music piece. I'm like, ick, get this out of my feed. And I like immediately report the channel as like, I do not want this in my feeds. Get it out.
Yeah.
Because I don't want it.
For me, it's like, okay, maybe, you know, if they're not monetizing it, that's one thing, but they're still putting it out there. It's still scraping for the people's music and stuff. Like,
100%.
Like, have I seen like some Neko Arc music covers? Like, yeah, sure, it's like a funny thing.
Yeah.
But when you see like 5 other people do the same thing to try to milk it, then it's like, all right, well,
yeah, exactly.
This might be a problem.
I mean,
like, it's the same thing with AI art, but like the AI art is the same thing with like crypto bros and NFT scammers. Like they're the same mindset. They're like, well, you know, if you don't adapt, you'll be left behind. Like that's not like using AI art is not like something you want to like do. Like people are also trying to say, oh, you know, AI art can be ethical if you train it on your own art. It's like, okay, why would you spend the time creating an AI model to train it on your own art
and you could just draw it yourself?
When you could just take the time and fucking draw it, you know?
Right. Now,
it's just to sit here and draw it.
Now, I have seen some people use it really creatively based on their situation, and I'm actually kind of miffed they didn't say anything sooner, which is why I unsubscribed from their channel. But looking back on it, I kind of understand why they did it. It was a channel that did it's kind of like what's the term? Like kind of like research analyses on like villains in different movies and genres. Like for instance, it showed like why why Syndrome in Disney's in Pixar's Incredibles was like the definition of a megalomaniac style villain, and then it would take like a whole like 12-15 minutes explaining, you know, who Syndrome was, what he stood for, obviously, you know, like recapping, but then explain what someone could define him as a megalomaniac type villain. And it was very well thought out, it was very well written, and you could tell it was indeed from a script. It wasn't like just something that was just thrown in there as like an AI prompt. But then when I go back and read the comments and someone pointed out, yeah, I've heard this voice model that you're using before on a true crime channel is the same one. And he explains, yeah, I'm using an AI voice that's trained on my voice because I'm not very good at English. And like I said, I was miffed on one hand because I'm like, okay, well, I'm not happy that you were using AI like that, but it kind of ties in my whole justification on where I think you could be considered okay, quote unquote, with using it. And it's training it in a way that it's not a format and medium or product or final product, I should say, of what you're trying to make, but it's it's an assistive tool of what you're trying to make. So like in that case, if you're making, you know, like if you want an AI voice, you know, an AI model trained on your voice to read a script, okay, you still might get the side eye that you're using AI like that, but to me, it would fall into the classification of you using it as an assistive tool than you are a product, and in that case, I could justify its use. But if you're using it to generate the entirety of your video and your script and everything like that, okay, that is 100% not okay.
Yeah, and to me, it's like, it just depends on how you're going to use it. Like, there are some AI tools like XR Animator, but they're not like Gen AI, because they are a tool like XR Animator. You know, the whole point of it is to use webcam tracking to move your arms and like animate your avatar. Like, that is a tool. That is a definition of an AI tool that is being used ethically, because it's not deviating, it's not even learning from you, it's just using what it has available to create something that is actually ethical. What is unethical,
you are giving it a limited amount of knowledge, and it extrapolates on the very little knowledge you give it to correct or automate a process that you would normally do yourself.
Yeah, I mean, to an extent, yeah. Like VC face, like that can still like capture your webcam, but it can't, like, it doesn't do like hand tracking. This kind of like helps bridge that gap, you know, until you get like a leap motion capture kind of thing. The other thing, it's like you'll have these crypto bros just try to say, or like these NFT bros, or like whoever was using, like, you know, AI. Try to say like, oh, I don't have like enough time to do this. Well,
you don't have to do it all at once.
You don't have to draw all at once, and you also have things where it's like, these people will try to like make excuses for like things like otherwise like you don't have to use AI to this stuff, this scraping.
Right.
Like, if you're using it as a tool, that's one thing. If you're using it as like a blueprint, that's another thing, but you have to be...
Yeah, if it's the end product, that's where people have the problem.
That is where the issue's residing, because then people are going to try to make money off of it. AI is legally not able to...
You can't copyright it.
There's no copyright behind it, right? Like, you can't copyright it, but it can steal copyright, because right now we have Japan, because all the Sora AI shit.
Oh, yeah.
Japan is, like, saying, hey, please don't copyright from us, or there will be legal issues.
Right, and they're ones that are not afraid to pull the trigger on that either. Like, here in the US,
I hope they destroy it.
Yeah, like here in the US, people will bluff on it, no problem, but no, they really don't have a leg to stand on. Japan is full of people that are not afraid to pull that trigger if they have to. They're not
honestly
afraid.
It'd be for the greater good. Get this Sora stuff out of here. It's scary enough as it is. It can literally create fake crime things happening.
Oh yeah. That's actually something that really annoyed me too, because I found a bunch of true crime stuff that I listen to, like whenever I'm working on models or such, you know, just casually. And then when I find out that, oh yeah, it's actually like a script that was generated, or they're using an AI voice to narrate the whole thing, because I'm picking up on key phrases that an AI would use, like, you know, pools of, you know what, splattered all over the place. But then I hear that exact same phrase on another channel, I'm like, okay guys, come on. Fill this in all the way.
Now, if it's like something like speech text to speech, well, that's a tool. That's what Zentrea uses.
Right, exactly.
Like if you're training an AI voice, you're training your own voice on something. You gotta understand like what the implications for that will be later on.
Yes.
Because like you could be long gone, and all of a sudden somebody could be using your voice for profit, and it's like
exactly. Oh, perfect example of that, actually. It's honestly serendipitous you brought that specific thing up. Did you hear recently what Zelda Williams has had to come out and say recently?
Robin Williams stuff, yep.
Yes,
that is messed up.
Because people were sending her videos, you know, AI-generated videos of her father, you know, with voiceovers or whatever that were generated. And she's like, guys, knock it off. I don't want to see it. I never had want to see it. I have zero interest, and I think this entire thing is pointless. And I'm like, first of all, good on you, Zelda. I appreciate that. You know, standing up for all the artists. I commend you for that. Thank you. But second of all, who does that? Like,
yeah.
Like, I can maybe understand the sentiment behind it, but at the same time, to send somebody literally AI-generated video and audio of their dead father, who we lost by him taking his own life, what kind of, how did I phrase that because I made a tweet about it when I read that. I'm like, honestly, don't believe this. It said, what kind of tone deaf, tactless, and tasteless kind of general person do you have to be to do that? Like, come on, guys, you use your brain. Who does that? So it was just crazy when I was reading about it. I'm like, seriously? She has to make a statement to tell people to knock it off? That's just really sad. But
Yeah.
no, I 100% agree with you. In fact, actually, I have a very good friend of mine in the Japanese meta rock community. He was working on I'm just gonna call it a scientific paper, for lack of a better term, around around Pokemon, especially in light of the new game that's coming out here that just released. And basically, what that paper entailed was, and I don't want to spoil anything because it's not been officially released locally, is he wrote it in Japanese, and then he reached out to me and says, "Hey, I would like to release this for the English-speaking Pokemon fans. Do you know some places I could put this, and would you mind looking it over for me?" So I'm like, "Oh yeah, absolutely, I can take a look at it for you." So I do, and he has a disclaimer on the front of it that says, "Just letting you guys know, I did have to use ChatGPT to translate this from English to Japanese, because obviously, he's not fluent, and had to use it as a heavy machine translation." So I sent it to a couple other friends of mine in private, with his permission, and said, "Hey, would you guys mind looking this over real quick and see what you think?" And the general premise of the document was he was basically revisiting an older region of Pokemon, but wanted to challenge and redefine how it designed its world, and how it made a lot of parallels to Japanese lore and history. Really, really well written, by the way. Very, very well written. I'm looking forward to when he releases the English version. But a couple of buds of mine pointed out on this, and I told him the same thing, about his disclaimer of using ChatGPT. And I parroted those comments back to him, and I said, the paper honestly sounded really, really good. Everybody had nothing but high marks and very, saying it was well written. But they did suggest to reword your disclaimer about the AI translation, and just reword it to heavily machine translated, or heavily reliant on machine translation, because a lot of folks here in the West consider something with ChatGPT as soulless, sloppy, unnecessary. It's seen a very negative light, basically. And he was surprised by it. He says, honestly, I'm kind of surprised by that. I appreciate the feedback, but it's kind of surprising. Can you explain? And I said, yeah. At least especially in the content creator community, if someone sees something that says that was either written or generated by ChatGPT, they are much less likely to actually engage in the document or interact with it, because of the negative connotation that comes with ChatGPT. And he says, wow, that's actually really surprising, because I actually work as a he said he worked with a AI development, not something like Sora AI or ChatGPT or something, but like a research analyst AI kind of thing. Because he said he wants to possibly come up with the idea of designing Metarot one day, like real live Metarots. Really, really nice guy, but he's more on the programming side of it, more than the generative AI, art, and whatever AI. And I mentioned that to him, and I said, yeah, for some reason it's still more of a 50-50 here in the West, based on who you ask. Do you support it or do you not use it? And I said the general consensus here in the West is, if you are using it as an assistive tool, much like you and I discussed, then we're generally very okay with it. We don't mind. But if they are using it as an end product for something, then that is where we have the problem. And he's like, wow, I didn't understand that, but thank you for the clarification. That's actually really nice to know. And like I said, super, super nice guy. And I've bounced a couple of Orimeda ideas on him in the past when contests come up, but it's just kind of crazy how conversations like that come up every now and then.
Yeah. Yeah, it's especially crazy when you have stuff like, did you see the Bandai tweets where people were like doing some very recent controversy versions of a model?
I may have seen it in passing, but do clarify me on
that. A political person got shot, and then people started making Bandai models, and Bandai had to make a statement saying, hey, this shit is not okay.
Gotcha.
We are going to start DMCAing this stuff immediately.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that rings a bell.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild, honestly. like, I understand the whole premise behind it, like, as a, as a tool that can generate this. I'm like, okay, cool, that actually is kind of neat, that, that we have that capability. But the problem is, it's being used in all of the wrong ways in order to actually, like, use it for what people say they want to do, which is what's overall hurting what, people that actually want to use it for genuine purposes. Because if someone looks at a document that says, it was generated or translated with ChatGPT, even if they only used it for machine translation and nothing else, the fact that it has ChatGPT on it at all is already going to be seen in a very negative light.
Like anything, like in my opinion, like ChatGPT is nothing more than just a glorified search engine that scrapes things from other sites.
Yes,
but it gets things wrong still.
Oh yes, I mean, have you seen those articles that pop up every now and then of like this lady? I think it was something along the lines of this lady was believed and went to the doctor thinking she had cancer because her ChatGPT said her symptoms were like cancer related.
Oh my god.
And then they take her under the knife and find out, oh yeah, she's like 100% clean. There's like nothing in here.
Yeah, like I've had a couple times where I blacked out and like, did I try to use ChatGPT for something? No, I went on one of those like actual accredited doctors' websites where you can talk to like a doctor. And they'll tell you, hey, you're fine, or hey, do what you can and stuff.
I like, it reminds me, have you ever seen those old videos from way back from, I think it was on College Humor, If Google Was a Guy? Have you seen those?
Yeah, I've seen it.
They're great. They're great.
They're really great. They were good.
It reminds me of that one episode where, where it showed like what WebMD just opening up their new cubicle right next to Google and says, okay guys, I'm open for business, come on in, and like nobody nobody joins them. And then it shows it clips to one of the guys that went to go look at Google before and says, palms sweating, and he gets instantly cut off. I think it was like Bing or somebody, or I think it's like Bing or somebody that he went to go consult, and like he cuts him off mid-sentence and says cancer. Just cuts him off immediately. I'm like, honestly, that's like half of the reason people don't like using WebMD for stuff, or like Googling their own symptoms, because they'll be Googling like, mild headache and sweating, and find out like a Google trip later, they find out, oh yeah, this, sweating and a mild headache are like cancer related, you're gonna die. And like, no, it's not, it's just you're not feeling well. Let's see.
Yeah.
Use a darker tone on that. There you go, that's a little better. Alright, let me see. But, yeah, honestly, like I said, I can understand where people are coming from with it, but at the same time, it's just being so horrendously misused that a lot of people are having trouble trying to understand, yeah, that you can use this as a tool because of all the people that are not using it as tools. Like, I was hearing recently, too, apparently, that the new model for, not Sora, I think it's like ChatGPT or something, can start having, like, mature, and I'm using that very loosely, mature conversations now with a coming update, and everyone's going, why?
Oh my god.
People are like,
it's because
why?
It reminds me of the Annie Grok thing, where people can now goon against the Annie.
Yeah, it's basically that. It's basically that, and people are going, why would you do this to begin with? Okay, let me see. I think we're cooking here pretty well. What do you think?
Oh, I like it. It's really good.
So now I can.
It's pretty good.
I'm gonna add a couple other things here while I'm still working on it.
Jonathan Crump, no. Bone cancer. What?
There we go.
Damn.
Yeah, it's just crazy how again people can just Google their symptoms and think, okay, well maybe I can just find something to kind of give me an idea of what to tell the doctor when I go in, and like 10 minutes into a Google search, they're convinced that they're dying in like 6 weeks. Like, doctor, I'm, I think I'm deadly sick. Why? I have a headache and my pinky hurts. Okay, and ChatGPT said that I'm gonna die in 6 weeks and my pinky hurts. No, you're gonna be just fine. What do you think about that kind of for the eye design? Kind of go with the mono eye design.
I like it, but I feel like there should be like a red dot in the middle,
Okay, yeah.
like
hold on.
somewhere.
Yeah, let me move this up a little bit.
I wonder if there's any Gundam Metabots. That would kind of go hard. And I think there might be some Zoids.
It's hilarious you mentioned Gundam because I literally had this conversation with, and it comes up almost like twice a week whenever I have my little weekly game of like what's tomorrow's news and we don't know what's coming, and they say, oh, Gundam collab, and I'm like, listen, at this point, now that we have Gurren Lagann, it's at the point we're hitting literally every big name mecha series that is not Gundam like it's a game. We have,
oh yeah,
we've hit Zoids, we've hit Gurren Lagann, we've hit Go Nagai, which gave us both Mazinger and the Getter series.
What they should do next?
What was a couple other big ones they did? They did EVA.
Transformers.
Yeah, they have Transformers. We did EVA. All the big ones, except
they haven't.
Gundam.
They haven't done. Have they done Power Rangers?
No, they have not. Actually, funnily enough, a combiner Sentai type actually does not exist in the series. They've never done it before, which is funny. Because
yeah,
I actually have an Orimeda I'm saving for the next contest. I can actually pull it up here real quick. Hold on. That is a combiner type, and I'm actually really proud of how well he came out. Where is it? Here it is.
Have they done Ultraman yet?
Yes, actually, they did. They did the Ultraman. It was the Netflix version back in 2021, I think. They haven't brought it back again since, but they have done it. They did Zoids 3 separate times with 3 different types. We have Wild Zero, we have the original, and then they did New Century. So now you can legitimately have a team full of Blade Laggers, and no two are the same.
Ooh, have they done? I know they've done Mega Man.
They've done Mega Man 4 times if you include the Rockman X collab. They've done Godzilla this year because apparently this year is his 70th birthday, and Toho's apparently.
Yep, I even have the VPET 70th anniversary VPET.
Yep,
VPETs are something I love. They're so good. I hope they. You know what I hope they do? And I'd buy this shit in a heartbeat. A Metabots VPET. If they do that, and then they somehow get DLC for Time Stranger, they are going to cook so hard and probably even revive the Metabot series even more so.
It's actually kind of funny you mention it like that because there actually was for a while now. It's been long since defunct, but there was a little mobile app game they released years ago where it kind of was the same thing, where it basically was like a digital VPET, like an old 8-bit VPET, kind of like a Tamagotchi, and essentially like you could train it, and like every once in a while it'd have like a little mini game where it'd do like a strength test. And once you hit a certain once you hit a certain number of points, it would unlock another part until you had the whole set. So they'd had that for a while, but then like 2 or 3 years later, they just kind of dropped support for it because it clearly wasn't getting a lot of users. I've seen it float around every now and then, but I've not seen it for a long time. But,
and it's called the Meta Watch.
Yes. That was it. But they actually had it as a dedicated app too. It wasn't just the physical it wasn't just the physical watch that people could buy. It was actually a mobile app. But like I said, they haven't had it around for a while, so it's been a bit. But this is the Super Sentai one that I designed that I'm holding out for the next contest. So I had a lot of fun.
Looks pretty good.
I had a lot of fun with this one. It's actually arguably one of my favorite Orimedas that I personally designed. And I'm looking forward to the next contest where I can hope and pray that he actually gets nominated or at least makes finalists somewhere. Okay, let me see here. So we're looking pretty good with our concept. So what we can do is I'm going to add... do those. Right, what are we at so far with time? We're at about 2-hour mark. We're making good time, honestly. Oops, hold on. Okay, so now what I usually like to do is add the... There we go. Just check this and make sure that it's working proper. Okay, so it works, but on the wrong layer, so go down one more. Okay, there we go. Okay. I'm going to take a stretch break here real quick while we're still working on that. Okay. Honestly, I think we're cooking. We got a pretty solid design here so far.
Oh yeah.
The only thing we have to really kind of think about and consider as we're putting this together is a model name and part names. But I like the idea of using Lycoi in something. Like, if it'll fit, I'd love to use some, like, Lycoi cat.
Lycanrot.
Let me try something real quick. Hold on. Detail real quick. Let's see if that actually fits. Let me try Lycoi cat. Lycoi cat. Because the big trick ultimately is when coming up with naming conventions, it has to sit under it has to stay under 8 characters. Funnily enough, Lycoi cat actually fits. It's 8 characters if you include the space between them. Nice, I like that. I'm gonna hold on to that. Yeah, so we just have to figure out naming conventions. Oops, no, hold on, there's something I missed.
Well, it's got to have a name that like sounds like a Metabot, because you got stuff like Meta B, right? But you also have names like Rakusho. You have names like.
So the interesting thing about the naming conventions is, yeah, you can use it as a nod or a reference to the model or to the motif in general, or in other cases you can get very creative with it. For instance, a really good example of another cat type that's been in game for a while is a Magi type. The model ID for her is MGY, Magi, but her name, properly translated, is Gato Arbol.
Ooh.
So we can have a little bit of fun with the name, honestly. We just have to make sure it fits under 8 characters, especially with the part names as well. And it stays somewhat on theme, you know. Let's see, let me look here. Let's see here. I'm just catching up with everything too. Okay, I do see my chat kind of blowing up here. Just make sure you guys are keeping it nice in there. I can only keep an eye on it from here and there, but just make sure you guys are keeping it clean. Be nice. Let me see. Okay, so I can keep working on the light layer. Just let me hide that. Just keep it out of the way. Okay. My music's cutting off on me because I haven't paid attention to it. There we go. Okay, here we go.
Lycaneko could be a one. Lycaneko.
Lycaneko?
Yeah, but the O's a 0.
Okay, so I could see that.
And then the 4.
Yeah, the only thing is we can't really use numbers like, well, they kind of use numbers and things, but it's more like as a convention, like as an addition, like say volume 10 or hardness 10.
Oh.
So, Lycaneko though, it actually is a very good idea though. I like that. Hide this a little bit better. Shape this down. There we go. Just like that. No, I don't want to cut the layer, please. Thank you. Yeah, just like that. Honestly, I think I really like the concept too because Lycoi cat is actually something I've never seen done. We have like 6 or 7 different cat types that have been designed: generic cat, Moggies, Panthers. There's even a king cheetah type that's been around in S for a while, but not a Lycoi cat, a werewolf cat at all. So we're basically trailblazing in a completely brand new territory because no one else has come up with it yet. So,
oh yeah.
Hey, the benefit of this is you can actually walk away from this stream and say, hey, you know, me and Kuura designed the first ever Lycoi cat, werewolf cat type that's been you know, that was designed as a fan design.
Oh yeah. Maybe it could be submitted as a design later on too.
Honestly, that's actually kind of my plan. Is I'm working on I work on the concepts and I hold on to them. And when the next contest does roll around, I actually am planning to submit a few of them.
Because I feel like this is the kind of Metabot that kind of scouts out kind of does recon missions.
Yeah, exactly.
Uses its gun to take out like cameras and stuff and
Yeah,
sort of
exactly.
get intel on things.
Yeah, and especially can
But
basically go into hiding freely.
Yeah. It can hide, it can use guerrilla warfare. There's always the option of like a meta part change too.
Yep.
So there could be other meta parts like a sniper rifle.
That's actually something that I tell a lot of people when they want to make their own model. Is when I go into like when people say, "Hey, I have a concept for a model. What do you think?" One of the things I think about, and it's mostly just because I've done it for so long as an analyst type channel, is how good can a set be used together, and how good can you use them as individual parts, and I tell people that when they say, how do you grade your stuff? Like, what is the grading criteria that you use? And I say, well, the first question I ask is, how good is the set as pure? Like just as is, straight from the box. Is it very synergetic? Is it a mixed kit? Is it like really weird? Does it have any strengths or weaknesses? How does it, how well does it cover its own weaknesses? How good or how poorly does it? And then I just kind of offer some opinions. That's why if you look at any of my videos, you'll find that I grade something twice. One as a pure set and one as a mixed parts. And I describe my arguments for both of them accordingly, based on how they choose to want to use it.
It could be also to where like the one mixed part, like the metabot could like be holding on to like their back or be hiding somewhere.
Yes, exactly. In fact, actually, there's a lot of models, and I've graded them specifically when I do my weekly grades, where I actually grade them higher as a mixed set, because, say for instance, if they have a specific kit that's like really, really strong, but they don't have anything that can support or even feed into that particular part, they can't use it by themselves unless they have someone that's actually willing to support them in the way that they need it. So I'll grade them lower as a pure set. But then when I go to grade them as mix, I'll say, however, if you were to mix the parts and say use this type of part with this arm, or mix the leg with something else, you could really start cooking up some damage. A really good example actually is one of the new ones that came out in the first wave of the Gurren Lagann collaboration is Tengen Kamina, and his whole shtick is basically the new King, Kaiser, and definition of the term glass cannon. And I'm pretty sure that probably is something akin to how Kamina actually is the series that I'm missing, since I've not watched it, but that's how they designed it, as a glass cannon. And essentially how it works is he basically cuts all his HP down to 1, but he super boosts all of his stats for that next turn, and then basically goes into cooldown, where he's actually lower performing until that penalty wears off. And I'm like, well, yeah, you have this super powerful damage boost for 1 turn, but you're left wide open through the entirety of your, through the next 3 or 4. Is it worth using? And I'm like, well, as a pure set, it works really well because it does synergize with itself exceptionally nicely. So if you definitely love using glass cannons, then I think then Kamina is a worthy investment. But me personally, I mean, even with him being up right now through this week, I don't think I'm personally going to be going after him, because I play way too conservatively in my RPG teams, and I can understand playing a glass cannon, but he plays way too dangerously for me to use.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of what I do, and what I've done on my channel for 4.5 years, is I kind of break down the mechanics and make it easy to understand, because with the game being only in Japanese, you can only do so much trying to play it as an English speaker.
Oh yeah, I totally understand. Like, I remember playing the PS2 JoJo game. That was a trip. I beat it though a long time ago, but
Nice.
it was pretty good for what it's worth.
Anything to point out from that experience, or just kind of I played it, not a big deal kind of thing?
Well, I mean, it's one of those games that, like, yeah, it's a bad game, but it has probably a very, like, it's got a really in-depth combat system.
Uh-huh.
So you gotta, like, know what you gotta know what you're doing to actually progress through the game, or the game's gonna punish you hard.
Skill checks, basically.
Yeah, there's like a lot of skill checks in that game.
I kind of appreciate games that do that, though, honestly, because they just like to make sure that you're staying on top of understanding how to play, and just making sure you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
I can appreciate that in games.
I gotta run the restroom real quick. I'll be right back.
No worries. I'm just still working on this. Let's see. Okay, let me see. Looking here at my chat as well. How to get one of the crown things? Honestly, it's a completely new thing to YouTube streaming. I didn't even know it was a thing until like 2 or 3 streams ago. But apparently it's something that's awarded to like highest engagement or like first couple that join stream. So like the first 1 or 2 that join stream are considered quote unquote top fans because they're the only ones in it. I don't really pay too much attention to it really. It's just whoever decides to pop in pops in. I'm not really worried either way. But sometimes people take an emphasis on that. I'm not really one of them.
I'm back.
Welcome back. Just about done with the light layer after I do this other arm, and I can work on the dark.
Alright.
So, making good progress on this, honestly. Normally I'm not hitting this until like 2.5 hours in with most folks, so we're definitely cooking a good concept here.
Oh yeah. Now, like, I know you like Metabots, but what do you like from Digimon, if you like Digimon?
I can say I enjoy it, I'm just not super knowledgeable in it. So, like,
I
have to say, the only ones I really know that I appreciate and enjoy as design, you know, if I had to pick a couple out of a hat, I always did like Tentomon. I always thought he was kind of cool. His Digivolution's kind of nice, too. I was always a fan of the Terriermon line as well.
Yeah, Terriermon's pretty good, especially with the Gargomon, Mega Gargomon, Rapidmon.
Yep. I think Rapidmon was the one I really didn't care too much about, but there you go. But otherwise, I really liked the line as a whole.
Oh yeah.
So,
if anything, I'd say like if you were like to give it a shot, I'd say maybe try starting out with like playing like Cyber Sleuth.
I've heard good things about it, and I've been hearing people going absolutely bonkers over the new one that just released, and
yeah, Time Stranger.
Yeah, and I mean, I've been seeing all the people playing it saying, "Oh man, this thing's honestly amazing." And I was even reading one article that said it has collectively at peak, even on slow hours, still had like more players than like Marvel Rivals at that point or currently. And I'm like, honestly, the fact that you could outdo most of those games casually like that. I mean, granted, it's a release week, so it's gonna get all the big fame. But yeah, but still, it's no small feat. So. Definitely big props to that, and
well,
I think a lot of Digimon fans are definitely eating good with that game after starving themselves for a while.
What if I told you that there is a Cyber Sleuth mod that puts Metabi Rakusho and the Metamon into the game?
I think I know exactly which mod you're talking about. I've seen it posted every now and then. It's honestly really cool how they did that. I have a lot of appreciation for that kind of thing, but yeah, I think I know which one you're talking about. I have seen it. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, it's really good.
And you said Cyber Sleuth is probably a really good like introductory to the series. You said.
Yeah, I would say it is. And then like after you beat Cyber Sleuth, you might end up playing Time Stranger, because Time Stranger, like from what I've seen, Time Stranger is one of those games that like it never stops. It's always going to be keeping your
There's always something to do.
teeth synced in. Like Cyber Sleuth kind of does that, but Time Stranger does it better.
Right. Probably because they took a lot of the stuff that made Cyber Sleuth super popular and they kind of bounced off of it. Which you do in a next game, new development game. So I can definitely appreciate that. Yeah, I've thought about trying a Digimon title. I saw my brother play the demo for before it released, the demo for Time Stranger as well, so it looks really good. I just haven't decided yet. I've got a handful of things I'm thinking about wanting to play or debating on. I just haven't decided if I want to pull the trigger on it yet. Right now I'm in a 3-way tie between 3 different Zelda games I want to play. And all 3 of them are really good, which is why I'm indecisive on it. I just can't figure out which one. Right now it's a 3-way tie between Skyward Sword HD. I can pull my Switch back out because I have a capture card for it. Twilight Princess, and then doing a run of Ocarina of Time.
Honestly, if I had to say it, if you want like a good experience, a lot of people don't like it, but Skyward Sword's pretty good.
Oh, I played and beat the original Skyward Sword on the Wii. Like, I know the story.
Really I have too.
Its soundtrack also was fantastic, absolutely fantastic. But the problem is because I know the game is that good, it's stuck in a tie with the other ones.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm at right now. Is I've got a lot of good ones on the docket I'm thinking about, but I'm just indecisive because all of them are good. Because I'm like, on one hand, I could do Ocarina of Time because it's a comfort game of mine. I grew up with it as a kid, and I could never go wrong with it. But then I think, well, it's also overused because everybody's done playthroughs of Ocarina of Time. And I kind of want to make it unique, But at the same time, someone else mentioned, well, it's because it'll be your playthrough will be unique. I'm like, yeah, I get it, but still, it's still overdone. And then I'm thinking Skyward Sword, because like I said, I have a reason to pull my Switch back out. And then I'm like, Twilight Princess, I only played and beat once, but it'd be nice to kind of go back and play that one again.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I'm just indecisive. I've got lots of good titles on there.
I mean, honestly, like when it comes to like this content creation in general, like yeah, you don't want to do the same thing because then people will start like accusing you of plagiarism.
Right.
But you could do like the same category of something, and it could be different than what somebody else does.
Yeah. And I'm not worried about the idea of copying someone else. Say, like, if I decide to do a run of Ocarina of Time, like, I'm not worried about the idea of copying someone else because, again, everybody's done it at least once. It's one of those games where it's like a rite of passage kind of thing. It's just, I want to play it, but I have other things that are on the docket too that sound just as good.
Oh, yeah.
I also have the collabs that I run on my channel fairly frequently. I know the most recent one I did was the Outsmarted collab, which was a pretty good success, honestly. They made a bunch of massive quality of life updates to it since the last time I played it with friends, so that was a really nice experience.
Yeah.
While I'm working on wrapping this up here, I think we said Lyco Cat was the one that we really liked.
Yeah. Lyconeko.
Lyconeko, that was it. You have to figure out art names for it. That's always the fun part too, is trying to think of part names for everything. I actually have a lot of fun doing that.
Pulley peeler. It's like a holy healer for like the arm.
You could do that. How's it spelled?
Pawly.
Oh, poly healer. Okay, I see it. Okay.
Yeah.
So, hold on. Over here. Okay, so there's one more layer I like to do with things. So it's a little big.
The head part can be called Lycan's Gaze.
I was thinking something like Gleam Gaze or something, yeah. It's actually kind of funny you and I were on the same wavelength on that one. Because I was thinking, I want to use Gleam something. Alright. I think we cooked up a pretty good one here.
Yeah.
That's not what I can do. That's the next step. Where is it? Change canvas size. Extra light here. Okay, so now what I can do. Move this over, shrink it just a little. So, put my pen down for a second here. Stretch my neck while I take a drink. Okay, let me see. Hide this because I don't need it right now. Alright, so what for the so for the model ID, what are your thoughts on we could do LYK. Lykoi?
What do you think? How long are model IDs?
3 letters.
Usually.
And as the first in the line, you'd have a model number of 0.
Let me see here. Call it LN.
Maybe like LKN?
Yeah.
We could do that. Okay, we said KYLONEKO.
Yeah.
Let me take a look here real quick. Oops, I don't know why my tab shrunk like that. Let me see here. Just checking some other stuff in the meantime. Let me see here. KYLONEKO. Wow, it's only 4 characters. That's actually really tiny. Yeah, we could absolutely do that. Okay, so let's see. See if I can find some. We could use Gleam Eyes for the head. That's under 8 characters. What do you think? What can we do for the other ones? How about something like for the legs? What if you do something like a Lycan step? What do you think?
I was thinking of Lycan Dash.
Okay, let's try that. So, oops, Lycan Dash. 2, 4, 6. It is 8 characters. We could use it.
Okay.
Alright, awesome. So now we just have to figure out the arms. I'm gonna save real quick too, just so I can save. Okay, there we go. Just in case. Alright, we want to do it for the
You
arms.
can call the healing arm Paul Seal.
Pause. That's right. You had an idea for that already, so
Yeah.
Seal.
The chest piece can be called Auto Cloak.
Okay. So the head and the chest are one piece.
Okay.
So we had Gleam Eyes for the head. We had Lycan Dash for the legs, and then we had Paw Seal for the left arm. We just have to think of something for the other hand.
Law Smash.
How about let me try. Hold on, where is it? There it is. Try. I just want to see if this works. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We could do. How about Silent Claw?
Yeah, that could work.
Actually, kind of like that. That sits really. That sits really good. So I'm gonna move this over just so I can. This while I'm putting this up. There we go. Okay, so we have. No, I don't want in that box. I want new box. So we have Gleam Eyes. Shrink this a little bit. Okay, hold on 1 second, real quick. What was the? Okay, and it's a heavy limit of 3, so it's triple heavy. So cool. So we have Gleam Eyes, heavy, with Rapid Vulcan. So Rapid Vulcan or Rapid Attack? Rapid Vulcan.
Rapid Vulcan.
We have Silent Claw, heavy. Stealth. We had Paw Seal, which was Rebuild. Then it had Float Legs with Lycan Dash. With was it Tenacity?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Tenacity.
Pretty much a stealth and a recon unit. So I can
Basically.
imagine like if it was using for like stealth, try and take out targets, it would replace the rebuild with like a sniper.
Yeah, honestly. And there's lots of really good skills they could use for that too. There's one skill I actually wish would really come back, and they buff it so they can actually start using it and stuff. Is Assassin, and it's a very unique skill that when attacking a target, it's guaranteed to land and it's guaranteed to be a critical hit on top of that. The cost, however, to that is the fact that if you fail to break something on your turn with that attack, your arm breaks instead. So you just have to really make sure that if you're going to be using it, you're going to be breaking something with it. Otherwise, it's a completely pointless sacrifice. The problem is, in the current competitive, things have been packing up a whole bunch of HP and resistance to the point that it's like almost impossible for you to actually use Assassin effectively unless you have the part already really close to breaking anyway. And at that point, you know, there's already like 100 other different choices you could do for raw DPS. That's not, you know, if I fail this move, I'm going to lose an arm.
But there's also the thing to where if I were to replace Silent Claw and put a sniper on it and have Assassin, I could use Rebuild and rebuild the arm.
So rebuild is a heal over time. It's not a part restore, but no, it is honestly still really good for keeping healthy, because as long as you can keep the parts from breaking, you can keep restoring it back you can keep it healthy as often as you want.
Yeah.
So let's see here. Let me actually look at this real quick and increase the size on this. Oops. Grab there, please. Thank you. Just like that. That's fitting better. Okay, so now we can have the fun part and actually work on. Actually, make another layer for that. Grab my ruler. Move this over here. So the fun part I like doing with a lot of my concepts too is making a kind of like a profile / side view of what what it would look like from the side. So let me see here. This is a little lower, just by room to work. Something like that. Oops, a little bit too big. Thank you. There we go. Stretch this a little farther back. I made it a little too narrow at the front. Let's see. That's a little bit better. Oops. The line, please. Thank you. Like that. I'm gonna do this without the I'm gonna do it without the cloak in the profile, just so we can, actually have a proper view of what it looks like.
Yeah.
First before. There we go. Like that. I'm gonna do that again. So, like this. That's a little closer to the original shape. Like that essentially for a profile. Just to kind of get the idea of what it looks like from the side.
Yeah.
So then, What are some other things that we probably want to clarify on with the design, like overall? Because I know I want to put a profile of what the posture looks like from the front, or from the other side, I should say. Hold on, I can do this another way. One problem with having to draw without looking at your hand is that you had to take like years to train yourself to do that, and even then your line quality still suffers for it. Unfortunately,
You gotta have a steady hand.
yeah, unfortunately my hold on, I got a stamp eraser. Unfortunately my I don't quite have the budget yet to actually pick up one of those fancy tablets that has the screen on it, which would probably improve my line quality a lot.
I don't even use one of those yet. But if I had to recommend one, the cheapest ones you can get are the Veek tablets.
Which ones?
The Veek. I'll send you a link for them.
Yeah, if you could do that. Because it'd be nice to at least consider it, like in the case that this tablet wears out on me, but I don't think this one will be wearing out anytime soon, because I've heard good things about Huion, and this one's been good to me for the last few years. So I don't see myself needing a new tablet anytime soon, but you know.
I had to get one because my Wacom tablet died.
That was actually what my old one was.
Before that, I had a Huion though.
Let's see. What's something else we could consider cleaning up or clarifying? Got the clothes. Oh, right. Oops. I just realized I drew that on the ruler layer. I hate when I do that.
The one that I use is the Viola L, which has like mechanical keyboard switches on it and a dial.
Okay, I'll have to take a look at that after stream.
It's like $35 since USB-C.
It's not bad, honestly. That's like not bad at all.
Their cheapest one with the screen is like $150 right now.
That's actually not bad. That's
VK1200 V2.
That's legitimately like not bad at all.
And there are drivers on both Linux and Windows.
Nice.
So if you ever decide to move to Linux, you have support.
Like a angled profile here.
Yeah. I will say, when I move, my video editing game is gonna I'm gonna be editing more videos more often. Because right now I edit maybe like a video, maybe like once every 2 weeks, maybe once a month.
Mostly space or time constraints, I take it.
I'd say it's time. I wouldn't say it's like not so much time constraints, but it's like I get tired after work a lot. But I feel like I would probably be this like, I don't know. It's weird because I've been living with like a roommate for like a long time. So once I get my own space, I feel like I'll have like, I won't feel as claustrophobic basically.
Honestly, though, and being able to get your own place like that too in this economy is crazy. Like that's a blessing unto itself.
To say, I got lucky with what I found because I'm lucky. I used to be a previous tenant, and it's a different place, but same landlord.
I mean, even then, still,
it's hard. Nowadays, it's hard. Like I'm gonna go from paying like for what I pay for rent on my half is like almost $600. Which, that's not horrible, but it could be better.
Right, exactly. And it's honestly crazy what rent goes for in places too. Like in my area, a single bed a single bed studio, like not even like a full size apartment, just a studio. You're looking at like no less than like 11, 1200, 1300 a month for one bed studio, like not even a full size.
Yeah, one bed studio where I'm going to, $550 a month,
Man, where are
plus
you living?
utilities, plus a small town. That's where I'm gonna be living out soon. But like basically my hometown, which is pretty cheap to live in. But it's gonna include utilities with like where I have to like pay the difference if something goes over.
That's fair. That's fair though.
Yeah. Which honestly, I don't think it's a bad deal. I think it's way better than what I have to deal with right now.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, get more room to breathe. That means I get to have save more money for projects.
Oh yeah, definitely.
This money to have in general, money to give to people if they need it. You know, it's pretty good stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And definitely
One of the things that I want to do is I want to build a NAS server, so I can save and back up all my stuff, all my art, all my videos, all of my streams. I have it all set up on a NAS server, which I think that's like the next thing I'm gonna do.
Now, because I'm a very strong proponent for citing for credit where it's due. But honestly, I'd say we came with a really stellar design here.
Oh yeah, it looks pretty good.
Has a very unique kit that can work by itself or with friends very, very easily, and make itself an absolute pain in the neck the longer it's allowed to live. Honestly, I really dig it. We had a really unique time, and like I said, like Boy Cats in particular is definitely going to be a new one because, like I said, it's never been done before. I've never seen one at all. So we've trailblazed a whole brand new category with this, and I think that's definitely going to be a really big selling point for it.
Oh yeah.
Let me see here as we're honestly just shy of 3 hours too. We made some really good time with this. Oops, my music cut off on me. There we go. So honestly, yeah, we did really good on this. I'm really glad I was able to have you on here for this, Kylo. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah,
with it.
glad to be here.
Yeah, but yeah, we had to put a really good thing together. Would love to possibly try to coordinate something sometime outside of workshop.
Oh yeah.
Let me go ahead and actually mute this too so I can be done with it. Yeah, so I'd say that honestly, what about call it though? Because like I said, we made great time, put together a really unique concept, and it's obvious that we really cooked with this one because normally we're spending a lot of time just sitting and thinking, okay, well, what if we do it this way? What if we consider this as an idea for the design? And then we go back and think, oh, well, actually, I don't like that design. Go back and make it this way. So we have a lot of indecision, but in the creation process, that's always something that's very openly welcome. So it was really nice that we were on the same page and basically just cooked right from square one and basically hit the ground both feet running.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah, it's just good stuff.
yeah, absolutely. And whenever an official contest comes around, I'll be sure to I'll definitely try to put a image together for this one and submit it and hope for the best. See what happens. But
Sounds good.
yeah, I mean, aside from that, before I do prepare to wrap everything up and bid farewell, is there anything that you have planned incoming? Any streams, editing, or any big projects you have upcoming before your big movie you'd like to kind of toot your own horn about for a while?
There will be a community Linux video on why people should be using Linux and why a bunch of VTubers are using Linux, or even game devs too.
Oh, okay.
That's coming. Hopefully that comes by November 1st, or at least by that week.
Okay.
I've been lately also been playing a bunch of Digimon, a bunch of Mega Man stuff, so expect more of that. I will try to like maybe incorporate some other games as well. And lately, I've also been working on my own 3D model as well.
Oh, fun. And you said you were
Through like,
tinkering with Vroid for a little bit on that one, right?
yeah, I was. I was cooking.
Nice, 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 nice. It's actually kind of nice too because I when I first heard about Vroid and started using it, it was like in like super early alpha. Like it was extremely rudimentary. It had like half the features that were on there now. But it's honestly really
Yeah.
nice to see how far it's developed, especially after it has official Steam support with both Steam and Booth. So really, really nice with
Yep.
that. It's definitely nice to see that, and you can make a whole bunch of stuff with that too. So really
Yep.
excited for you, bud.
Yep. And I might have a 2.0 coming down the line too, for like everything else.
Nice. Do you have any particular timeline on when that's supposed to come out, or still kind of playing that by ear?
I have no idea until it happens.
Gotcha, gotcha. That's always good too. Always good to kind of keep in the know and just stay up to date on that and just kind of play it by ear. That's always good. Well, that being said, Kylo, like I said, it was an absolute treat to have you here on the MNN with me tonight. It was amazing. And thank you so much for taking some time out of your evening to come hang out with me for a couple hours as we come up with something brand new. If you don't mind, after I officially go mute here for just a second, if you could stick around for just a little bit, um, and I'll kind of start bidding everything farewell and locking up shop.
Okay.
All right, but again, thank you so much, Kylo, for tuning in for a while and hanging out. It was a treat to have you, and always, I wish you the best of luck both with your move and with your future panels and developments with the Linux VTuber of the community.
Oh yeah, thank you, and thank you for having me on. It was definitely an experience. I like Metabots. Metabots is one of those things that I just do like because I do like a lot of the designs that they have, and it has a good parallel with Digimon.
Oh yeah, 100%. And that's always like half the charm with it too is, you can come up with the same design or the same motive for a design and have like a dozen different styles on how you can take it, which has always been the big charm
Yep,
with it.
kind
But
of like how people have been drawing Pokemon like Digimon lately.
absolutely, absolutely. So I'm gonna go ahead and bid fare thee well for now, and then all right, with that being said. All right, so as far as anything else that I'm planning in the immediate, I don't have any streams planned yet that I can think of immediately. Pretty much like I talked about with Kylo, there's a handful of games that I'm still thinking about that I'd like to play, but I will figure that out. Maybe I might do a solo Orimeda stream of my own and figure something out. Maybe do like a mic-less stream and just kind of let you guys hang out while I'm putting something together. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But yeah, obviously you guys will know when that happens. Just keep in touch with me on Twitter or Discord or whatever. And I leave my DMs open on purpose for that very reason, so you guys can do so. But with all that being said, as always, I do appreciate you all for stopping in, just as you always do. And until next time, this is your host, Kuura Isagami of the Metarot News Network, signing out.